All right, so Nvidia over $800, which is good. Good sign. That's definitely a good sign. Let me get my headphones connected. Yeah, so again, today we got a bunch of big earnings releasing. We got like Tesla, GM, UPS, RTX, and more. They're about to drop right now. So a couple of them are about to drop like right now. Let's see. Yeah, so some of them are about to come out right now. Let's see which ones. GE is about to drop. RTX is dropping in about 25 minutes. Lockheed Martin. So let's look up GE here. Here's GE. We also have GM getting released right now. GM. UPS, Spotify already out. Pepsi already out. JetBlue releasing right now too. There's JetBlue. We'll cover these earnings as soon as they release. Let me get my disclaimer up and I got you guys. Hold on. All right, so here's GE. So GE is out. They posted EPS of 82 cents. They expected 66 cents. Revenue of 15.2 billion. They expected 15.34. So better than expected EPS. Miss on revenue. Better than expected guidance for GE. So I do expect GE to continue going up. Look at GM bouncing right now. JetBlue also posted a 43-cent loss per share. They expected 52 cents, so a little bit lower loss than expected. Revenue of 2.2 billion. They expected 2.2 billion. Again, here's GE. We'll put the other ones up in chat. General Motors posted 256 EPS versus 215 expected. Revenue of, let me see, I didn't see the revenue here. Yeah, so again, here's GE. GE posted adjusted EPS 262, beat the 214 estimate. Sales of 43 billion, beat the 41.87 billion estimate. So here's GM, and you can see GM bouncing all the way up to almost 45s right now. So GM's bouncing a lot. GM also had good guidance. They posted 10 fiscal year EPS versus 950 expected. Fiscal year revenue view of I didn't see the revenue view for them, but we'll have to wait. But yeah, look at GM up there. Again, GE's down. GE had good guidance though. JetBlue, understandably, is dropping pretty significantly from their earnings. We also have RTX in about 30 minutes, 25 minutes. Yeah, my Home Depot position is green. We added some to it the other day. Green on Alibaba today, although we're basically flat overall on a position. All right, chat. Ugh. Dude, my stomach is in shambles today, man. I ate some gyro and chicken shawarma yesterday before bed. Ugh. Bad move. And again, the good news is Nvidia is over 800 again. That's a great sign. Great news. It needs a bounce back. It really does. Oh, man. All right, let me do a poll real quick. Does today's earnings releases help or hurt the stock market? Yeah, I'm not feeling great. Gold dipping down a little bit today. So gold dipping down again. GM loving life up there to 45.20s. So doing really well. Again, look at Nvidia. Nvidia up to almost 809s right now. That's a great sign. Today's Tesla earnings day. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Meta today. Meta has earnings tomorrow. Oh, look at GM still go here, chat. Look at GM rip up. Again, we do have RTX earnings. They're scheduled to release at 6:55 market time, so we still got about 20 minutes. 18 minutes or so. Tesla bouncing a little bit at 153s. The Dixie is slightly red today. Gold is down. Bonds are flat. All right, guys. Yeah, I don't know if Tesla's going to continue to drop. We'll see. All right. All right, chat. Yeah, yo, slap that like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. RTX earnings coming out soon, man. Again, let me know your predictions. RTX is expecting 123 EPS on 18.41 mil or 18.41 billion in rev. So we'll see if it hits it. Alright, so we're here. Alright, so GM finally pulling back after good earnings, good guidance. Yeah, I had somebody complain about the music. It's like, you sound like fun at parties, bro. Come on now. Like, it's not even like I'm selecting these songs and I'm being like, hey, these are great songs. It's like, dude, I'm just kind of going to lo-fi music on Epidemic Sounds and I'm just kind of playing the whole thing. Like, I'm not hand selecting these songs. I have a playlist that sometimes I'll play. But yeah. Oh, dude, my stomach is in freaking knots, dude. It is in freaking knots, man. I don't know why. I guess I had a brisket sandwich yesterday. It was really good. I love brisket, but shouldn't have ate in it. And then when I got home, I had gyro. And, probably not the best move, huh? "12 characters, okay. I must have recently changed this. I think that's 12. There we go. Alright. Okay. Am I not paying for... Okay. Sorry, chat. Bear with me. Forgive me. Alright, guys. RTX expecting, whatever, dude. Bro, every time I put in a password, it says it's wrong. What? I just changed it. Alright. Alright, is it time to buy GM on the dip? Is it time to buy GM on the dip, guys? Let me know. What do you guys think? Is it time to buy GM on the dip? Upgrade me, sir. Alright. Supermicro Semiconductor shaping up the cobwebs. Yeah, don't they have earnings this week as well? Again, RTX expecting 123. 123 EPS. Supermicro Semiconductors is on April 30th, so it's next Tuesday. Busy week, really. All right, so we do have GM. I might buy GM on this dip here. I'm not really holding GM. I'm not really a big bull in GM either. Oh, wait, I can't buy it. I gotta wait 15 minutes. Alright. Carvana. Yeah, Spotify is out already. So Spotify is out. They released theirs early this morning, though. Alright, so Spotify posted 363 billion sales versus 3.6 billion expected. EPS 97 cents, beat the 68-cent estimate. So yeah, they did better than expected everywhere, basically. Alright, so we want to buy this dip. We gotta wait, I think, until after 7 o'clock. We do have RTX dropping earnings sometime soon. So Spotify stock gains as monthly active users fall short, but margins improve. You know. What's up, JoJo? To the bias. Tesla option chain was very interesting yesterday. I bet, man. It's kind of a big day for Tesla. Oh, dude. My stomach is in freaking knots, man. I don't know why. Go away. There we go. Alright, so we would have bought the dip. It would have worked, I think, here too. We still got about 7 minutes left until RTX. Gold is starting to bounce back a little bit. Also, yeah, AMD up to 151s. Nvidia's bouncing back too, though. Nvidia up to 807s. Almost everything came in really good for earnings too. Like UPS did well, GM did well, Spotify did well, GE did well, Pepsi did well, JetBlue did well also. I don't know if I'm still in Pepsi. I think I cut Pepsi. Yeah, I'm out of Pepsi. But I made money on it for a while, realistically, I think. Alright, guys. Sorry, I'm not supposed to. I don't know why it's playing actual. I forgot to do lo-fi, maybe. We put lo-fi in. I don't know. Pamping? Somebody keeps saying that. I don't even know what that means. Alright, chat. Hey, we're sitting tight. Alright, chat. Again, we're sitting tight waiting for something to happen. Alright, we're green on our portfolio again, though. We're waiting for RTX, which drops in just a couple minutes here. I'm going to see if anything else comes out today, too, but... Halliburton also out. Again, GM out, better than expected guidance. Halliburton showed 76 EPS, 74 expected revenue, 5.8, expected 5.67. MSCI showed 352, expected 345, revenue of 680. So most things beat that I'm seeing. Like, I see mostly beats today. We still got about 4 minutes left until RTX releases. Yeah, vote on the poll. Let me know how you feel. I said drip. I meant to say dip. Alright, guys. RTX coming soon. Alright, again, we might buy GE. Will Tesla trigger a stock market dip today? That's the big question. We also have services and PMI data coming out live. Again, I'm slightly green on the day. I'll take it. We're also in Apple. We added a little bit to it. I'm trying to see what I'm so green on today. It says I'm up $20-something on the day. I'm green on Tesla. I'm green on SoundHound. I'm green on Nike. Oh, I'm green on HD, Home Depot. That's what this is. Yeah, dude. My stomach is freaking nuts. Oh my gosh, bro. Dude, ChatGPT is legit dumb. In some areas. Like, I'm playing with code here. It's legit dumb. It's just bad. It just doesn't do anything right. Like, everything it does is wrong. And this is worse than it was before. It just can't seem to get it. Does it need a comma? Does that fix it? No. And what do you have to do to open up a new line? And do I need to open up a parentheses here? Try version 4. Yeah. All right, guys. So here's RTX numbers. So RTX numbers just dropped. RTX showed up at, let's see, here's RTX right here on the right. JetBlue reacting negatively here. Here's RTX. RTX hasn't released yet, so we're still waiting. So still sitting tight waiting. They're scheduled to release right now, but it doesn't mean they will. All right, so here's RTX. RTX came in at sales of 19.3 billion, up 12%. The market hasn't digested them yet. A GAAP EPS of 128, but 32% year over year. They expected, what do they expect for earnings? They expected 123, so better than expected EPS of 128. Adjusted EPS of 134, so better than expected, up 10% from the prior year. Again, they had 19.3 billion in sales. They expected 18.41 billion. So RTX did pretty well. I'm surprised it's not reacting like this, man. Like, it didn't react at all. Weird. But again, RTX showed 19.3 billion in rev, EPS of 134 for adjusted. Yeah, we'll put it up on screen. I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but yeah, here it is. Raytheon. Oh. All right, so again, we're gonna put RTX up on screen. They completely no reaction here. Yeah, no reaction here. Today we have Tesla earnings, guys, so just be ready for this. All right, here's Raytheon. Again, no reaction from markets, essentially just no reaction. 134 versus 123, revenue of 19.3. Low volume. No, my thumbnails should be pretty good. Which thumbnail do you see? This should be the thumbnail you see on screen right here. So this should be the thumbnail you see. It shouldn't be anything else. In phase, ENPH. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yes, we did have Shopify. Let's see if Tesla earnings benefited. Again, RTX is out. You can see the numbers at the bottom of the screen. I had to yell at ChatGPT and say, stop it. You're wrong about everything, dude. I had to yell at it and say, you're wrong about everything, ChatGPT. Give me another one that works. And it still doesn't freaking work, bro. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, so RTX, and it still didn't get right. Are better than expected earnings good at this point? Let's talk inflation. Yeah, I mean, I still think they're good. Philip Morris dropped, so Philip Morris is out with their numbers. I still think they're good, right? John, it was showing your banner earlier instead of your thumbnail. I'm not sure why. That's weird. But yeah, there's Philip Morris. But yeah, it should be the normal one, you know? All right, so there's 7 o'clock. We can now trade. RTX is kind of gapping down. I wanted to buy GM on the dip, and now when I can finally unlock trading on TOS, All right, guys, so 44.87 for GM. Again, RTX is up to 102s. It finally reacted to earnings. It had good earnings. We're still looking at more stuff. Yeah, it might be YouTube. Could be. Oh, dude, my stomach. Alright, so we're back up there. NVIDIA up to 807s here. RTX at 102s. We got about 240 people here. So not bad for an early morning stream. I mean, let's ask the chat. Chat, help me out really quick here. What thumbnail do you see for this stream? Is it my banner? Or is it my normal thumbnail that looks like this? You should see this right here. But let me know if it's the banner. Alright, look at GM. I wanted to buy the dip in GM. I should have bought the dip. And here, you can refresh the stream, Keegan. It might just be y'all need to refresh the stream. I mean, I could resave it, but y'all might need to just refresh the stream, I'm thinking. Banner. Here, I'll try to refresh the stream. Hold on. It's weird, dude. Like, we got this banner up. We're gonna save it again. Might be YouTube's. So it's still the banner. Weird. Hopefully they get it fixed by Tesla earnings today. We don't really got, I mean, we got manufacturing services PMI coming out. Hey, well, good luck, Kevin. Is the banner still? That's weird. You know. Hopefully it fixed it. I mean, again, refresh the stream. Maybe click the top and just refresh, see if it helps. Refresh and still banner. Really, dude, that's weird. Let me make a completely different thumbnail and see if that helps. I don't know. It's got to be a YouTube issue, is what I'm guessing, right? It's got to be. No? There we go. Look, I completely did a complete different thumbnail, different lettering. Kind of like this lettering better, anyway. But yeah, let me know if this worked here, chat. Hold on, not yet, not yet. Okay, and now. Yeah, I don't know why my banner is showing. Hold on. Alright. It changed. I needed to refresh. Okay, that's good. PMI will be important if it's a miss, as expected. Yeah, so PMI drops today as well, chat. So we do have manufacturing and services PMI. So again, today we've got services PMI, manufacturing PMI, new home sales, and then Tesla earnings. Next week, we still got CB consumer confidence, non-farm employment change, FOMC decision, jobless claims numbers, unemployment, and payrolls. Last week was kind of slow. Alright, so we might buy a dip, but look, RTX bouncing back a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to buy it right there too, man. I was in it, like, perfect timing too. I just couldn't buy it. But I wanted to buy GM right there at 44.50s. It just wouldn't let me buy it. Yeah, alright, well, good. It works now. That's good to know. Yeah, it is already. It's a big week. It's a big week. It's unfortunate I'm not feeling 100% because it's a huge week, and I got Tesla earnings today. Tomorrow we got Meta earnings. Thursday we've got Google and Microsoft earnings. Friday we've got Exxon earnings. We also have PCE data Friday, GDP data tomorrow, or no, the day after tomorrow, GDP data. Just a very busy week here. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if ChatGPT updated their script, but GPT-4 is much worse right now. Much worse. Like, the problems I'm encountering here are much worse. Like, it won't even compile, like, right. Like, they can't even get a function right today. So, here's my worry with companies like GPT, right? Like, here's my worry, is that they want to monetize it, right? So, like, if ChatGPT is going to put out a specialized programming AI, like if they're going to put out specialized programming based AI systems, this is very weird because last week I was using GPT-4 DALL-E, same exact thing, exactly the same thing, and it never made a mistake. It got everything right. Today it has made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mistakes in a row, and I'm saying, hey, this is where the error is, and it's not fixing it. Weird, dude. You gotta wonder if they're gonna push it back a little bit, and like, they're gonna want people to use their own version. It's interesting. Yeah, I wish I would have bought GM. We're kind of right back to where we were though, although I think the second test of this level is a little bit less reliable. I think the second test. Nvidia up to 808s. Again, RTX is up there. Today we got Tesla earnings, chat. Tesla earnings, big day, huge day. Let me get rid of RTX earnings. We can cover it, but it's already out. Nobody cares about it anymore. All right. It's the first big earnings call this year. What else do we have? We have Tesla. We've got UPS, GM earnings. Good. Vietnam made a deal with Nvidia, $200 million AI plant they're building. Yeah. I'm actually kind of yelling at ChatGPT right now. Yeah, I'm kind of yelling at ChatGPT right now. It's assuring me that they didn't change anything. Yeah. All right. What's your opinion on Supermicro semiconductors for the next day till their earnings? Yeah, I mean, again, it's a big week for Supermicro. Tesla bouncing up a little bit. Nvidia bouncing up. Tesla bouncing back still some, but it's still down a lot. Tesla's down a lot over the last, like, really, realistically, Tesla's down a lot this year. Like, Tesla down on the year, you know, 52-week chart. It's actually kind of flat on the year, but it's down a lot from its highs. Tesla was at 299 in July of last year. 299 is now at 142.05. Look at Tesla bouncing here, though, putting a higher low. Nvidia testing highs. GM up there as well. We'll see if Nvidia continues to run. Nvidia is kind of the big boy that you want to watch. Nvidia is going to be the big influence of the market. I don't know if Tesla's going to beat earnings or not. I really don't know. I hope so. I'm in a little bit of Tesla, so like I truly do hope they will. But again, I really don't know for sure. Yeah, so dude, I bought my watch, right? So if we look at where I bought my watch, dude, I'm telling you, bro, like, listen, this mentality freaking works, bro. Like, I'm telling you, this mentality works for any investment, really, realistically. For any investment, it can work, right? So again, I bought my one watch. Let me find the chart. I saw this the other day. I don't want to tell you specifically what kind of watch I have, but I bought myself a watch the other day, and it was kind of an investment. Not the other day, like months and months ago. It's kind of an investment. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, this is it right here. So I bought myself this watch, right? What's crazy is that since I bought myself this watch, we have bounced up really, really nice since I bought it. So, like, I bought the watch here. I'm not going to tell you specifically how much the watch was because, again, I don't know. It might just make people weird. But I bought the watch here just to show you this trend. Like, I think all stock trends are very similar. Oh, no. I think all stock trends are very similar, but like just to show you guys the dates behind this, right? I bought this watch here. Literally right there is where I bought my watch, dude. And I remember, if you guys remember me talking about it when I did buy it, I bought the watch as an investment piece. It's not like I'm just investing in Rolexes, right? But Rolexes do appreciate over time. Like a Rolex 20, 30 years ago is going to be way more now than it was then. So they do keep up with inflation to a certain extent. And when you're buying things and building kind of like a nest egg, you want to buy things that will probably appreciate over time. Even if I'm wrong about it, you know, it's still something that will at least hold its value long term, right? At least hold its value. And so again, the logic of this purchase was this, okay? So Rolex prices had dipped a lot since 2020. So 2020, the QE, the money printing came out, the stimulus checks came out. And during this period of time, Rolex prices freaking doubled. They went crazy. They went up a lot. They appreciated a lot in this period of time, mostly because everybody had stimulus checks. QE was in full, swing, and all these different things were happening, right? Well, Rolex prices, Louis Vuitton prices, like all these prices spiked because everybody was home. Everybody had stimulus checks. and they didn't know what else to buy. So a lot of, for lack of a better word, never mind. A lot of people that aren't that smart spent their stimulus checks on luxury stuff like this, right? Which is just not a smart move. But anyways, the point is, there was a bubble in Rolex prices, right? And then so in the following years since that, we had this big decrease. So in the following few years, we had these big decreases where watches were down a lot. Like Rolex prices were down a bunch. And so when I noticed that market, when I saw this chart, I said, hey, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to buy into this, and at worst, long term, I'm going to break even. But at best, it might appreciate some. And again, we got in right at the bottom. We literally bought it in November, and it was either November or December. And now you can kind of see we have had a beautiful bounce. And specifically this watch, right? This is a specific watch that I researched. Every watch isn't going to appreciate. For those that don't understand watches, Rolexes, gold Rolexes are worth less. They appreciate less. They're less of investment pieces. None of them are really investments. You shouldn't look at them that way. But gold Rolexes, you might think like, ooh, gold is flashy and nice, right? But like the really wealthy circles, they don't think like that. They think gold is tacky in a lot of ways. Like they want to be somewhat ambiguous to like wealth. They don't want to look like, a lot of people that don't have that much money think that the wealthy people just flex all the time and that they're just flashing all the time and they're wearing all this fancy stuff. Wealthy people don't really act like that. Usually it's something where like the loudest person in the room is the weakest. There's the famous saying, riches yell, wealth whispers. Very, very true. And so people that I know that are really well off, most of the time wear flip-flops and t-shirts, man. I don't see them dressing in like, super expensive. They definitely don't have iced out gold Rolexes. And so the watches that will appreciate over time are typically watches that are not gold, that are like the rule of thumb is that if your Rolex has a name, so you'll have these different names. You have like Starbucks, you'll have Batman, you'll have Batgirl, there's the Hulk, there's Bluey, there's all these different Rolex names, right? If your Rolex has a name, it's usually like a very famous Rolex that might appreciate over time. So anyways, just to give you guys a look at like a different investment market. And a lot of people make money like flipping watches, like they buy a Rolex because the price can fluctuate and the price that you get for them can fluctuate. So you could buy one for $15K, sell it for $17, make $2,000. Buy another one for $12, sell it for $13, make another $1,000. And if you do that 3 or 4 times in a month, you're making 40, 50 grand a year just kind of flipping Rolexes. A lot of people do that as well. I'm not gonna do that, but the tax man might come for you if you do. If it makes you feel better, Morbid, I didn't get any of those. I didn't get a Submariner. I wanted a Submariner. Originally, I wanted a Submariner, and I went to the store and I was like, "Yo, I want a Submariner," and they were like, "Oh, we got one for you," and I'm like, "Okay." And it was a black and gold Submariner, because I'm a Saints fan, right? So I wanted a black and gold Submariner. But there's different ages, so like one of them has an extra 1 in the reference number, and that one is the newer one that was made after 2010. Right, so the older one is worth noticeably less. Like I'll tell you guys the price. Like the older one is worth like $12K, like 13,000, like 12 or 13,000. The newer one's worth like 14 or 15K, right? And so the guy told me it was one of the newer ones, and I was getting it for like 15. And I was like, okay, if you send that, I'll buy it. I put the deposit down. He sent it. When I looked at it, it was the old one. So it was the old one that was worth $3,000 or $4,000 less. And so when I got it, I was like, hey, look, like this isn't worth what y'all are trying to charge me for it. But they also had another watch there that was, they had another watch there at the time I was like, okay. I was like, if you give me a deal on that one, I'll buy that one. And so they did, and I ended up getting the different one. I don't want to say which kind it is, but... All right, guys, so look at Tesla. Tesla down under the VWAP, under the 200 EMA. Nvidia's still bouncing at that volume-weighted average price. GM still up to $45 a share. No, this was like a jewelry, like a very well-known jewelry store. Morbid. I got a Rolex. The secondhand ticks. Is it fake? I mean, I don't know. The only way to really know nowadays, the fakes have gotten so good that the only way to really know is to crack the back open and look at the back. That's what I made the people that sold me mine do. I made them crack open the back, because the fakes now, because mine's a new one, right? Like mine, like the one I ended up getting is like a 2021, right? So it's a pretty new one. The new ones now are really, really good. The fake ones are really, really good now. It's almost indistinguishable. The only way to really know is to crack open the back. But it also depends on how old it is. Does it look like NVIDIA will hold $800? I think $800 is a big spot for NVIDIA. It's a big level, right? Like, it's a big level, big milestone level. I think a lot of people are watching in it, you know. They changed the tax rules for a car. I would buy a car. I'm trying to lower my tax bill this year. For this year that I'm gonna have to pay next year. So I'm trying to lower that. You know, I'm about to buy a house, but I'm gonna pay cash for it, and so not really gonna get any good write-offs from it. Like, if I got a mortgage, I could write off the interest, but since I'm not getting a mortgage and I'm just paying cash, I'm just not going to get to write it off, unfortunately. So, I would get a company vehicle, but the hard thing, like, if I'm being honest, right, like, I don't really drive for work. You know, I work from home. I could write off my home office. Right, so Pawn's right. So the first way, you want to look to see if a Rolex is real. Look at the magnification. Look at the Cyclops. Look at that. Zoom in, look at the letters, make sure the numbers are crisp and clean. There's very specific numbers, make sure they're right. The other way is to look at the Rolex on the inside. Like Rolex will have the word Rolex going around the circle inside the glass. You'll see it going around the circle. You have to make sure each letter perfectly lines up with each minute, or it's either each minute or it might be every 5-minute line. Right, so it should line up exactly with the letters. Like, you'll get some fake Rolexes where when you look around the line, they're not lined up, right? So if they're not lined up with it's either the minute hands or the 5-minute hands, then it's fake, you know. So there's a lot of ways to tell. I just look it up. Yeah, Rolexes they're gonna be perfect there, you know. Well, no, the high-end ones are good, though, bro. Fakes used to be easy to spot. The high-end ones are different now, dude. Like, they're basically reverse engineering Rolex, right? So you can get a really, really nice fake one for like $1,000 right now, $500 to $1,000. So you're spending $500 to $1,000 on a fake Rolex, but unless you crack open the back, it's almost indistinguishable from the real thing, right? Like, they have completely reverse engineered it. Very smart, to be honest. Like, they've completely reverse engineered it. I don't like. Is it Paneri or Panerai? I don't know about them very much. I like Omega watches. That's good. My next purchase is gonna be an Omega, but kind of saving my money right now. I wrote off over 10,000 in the music industry. Yeah, Patek. Like, listen, the Pateks are nice. They're a little bit they're outside of my price range. They're too rich for my blood here, man. I'm not going to be able to, like, most Pateks, if you want a good one, it's going to be like 30 or 40,000 just for the watch, for the base Patek, right? Like, I don't know if I could afford that. I could afford it, but it would be a bad, like, look, I like watches. Maybe I'll get one day, but, you know, I think not just that, the volatility swings on something like that are way too high. You know, you got to get a Patek for like, what, 100,000, you know, anywhere between like 30 to 100K. And the volatility is just like too much. Breitlings are nice. I like Breitlings. I like the way Breitlings look. You know, I do like the way they look. What's up, Rich? The tag. I always have a hard time pronouncing the tag. Is it Tag Heuer? Hewer? G-Shocks are a little cheesy, I think, at this point. A little corny, almost. You know. Like, G-Shocks were really, really big. Like, I grew up in the 2000s. Right? Like, I was like a teenager in the 2000s. G-Shocks were really big back then. I grew up in the 90s as well. Like, Fossil watches were freaking huge in the 90s. A lot of people don't realize where Fossil comes from. Fossil watches were freaking, like, huge in the 90s. Everybody wanted a Fossil watch. And, that's where I really started liking watches, was in the 90s with Fossil watches. You had these super bright colored, faces on them, you know? I'm sorry, this music's changing. It's supposed to be hip-hop, but should I let it go, or should I change the song? It's supposed to be hip-hop, or it's supposed to be lo-fi music, so it's not hip-hop. It's kind of calm music. This doesn't seem like calm to me. Should I change it? Yeah, tag. Tamagotchis. Hey, the goats. I don't mind this. Like, I really don't mind it, but, like, it's a little bit, it's not really calm. Yeah, it's weird, man. Like, I've got a bunch of watches, right? Like, I've kind of collected them over the years. You know, I never had a Rolex. That's why I wanted to buy one. But I've got a bunch of, like, Belovas. I don't know if it's Belova or Belova. I've got some Movados, you know. I've got some Citizens. My dad really likes Citizen watches, so I got some Citizens. I've got some, yeah. And I've kind of learned to work on them. Like, I can take the back off. I can take out links. I can do all this stuff on them. So it's kind of like a hobby. Yo-yos? Yeah, yo-yos back in the day were huge, too. I could actually yo-yo pretty good, man. All right, guys, so here's the 730 level. So here's 730. GM still bouncing up. NVIDIA up to 806. Tesla at 142.50s. Yeah, I don't know. This is not a song I picked. It's over now, so. Tesla comes out this evening. All right, gold's starting to bounce back again. Is it time to buy the dip? Was the market choppy yesterday like we expected it to be? I expected the market to chop yesterday. And honestly, this really is like a trading strategy I've been thinking about, right? So this trading strategy I've been thinking about, and again, I'll go ahead and tell you guys, every day or every month, you get a lot of economic releases that are pretty big, pretty relevant, pretty big, pretty relevant, right? Like this is a trading strategy that I've considered. Usually ahead of these big economic relevant releases, you get choppy days. You get choppy days leading up to it. The day prior is usually choppy. The morning leading up to it is pretty choppy. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is on choppy days, in the queue was choppy, but it was big range, so maybe it would work less. On choppy days, ahead of big economic releases, and this probably isn't the best example because really, like, Tesla earnings aren't until this evening, and so we really got this whole day. It's going to be released in after hours. It's more so for stuff like CPI, for Jerome Powell, for FOMC meetings, for stuff like that. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'll go ahead and describe the strategy where the market's going to do this a lot of the time ahead of big economic releases, right? And so the strategy is just waiting for a big move up at the opening bell and shorting it, and then looking to cover at the bottom and maybe go long wait for a big move up, short it, go like try to trade the range like this in choppy days. Because I think one of the most predictable things is that during big economic releases, ahead of them at least, the market can be very, very choppy. And so if you're going to attack the range, I think if you're going to short tops and try to catch a falling knife, or if you're going to buy bottoms and try to catch a falling knife, I think the best way to do it would be to do it on choppy, big economic release days prior to the release, right? Because that's when the market is the most choppy in anticipation for it. I just think the edge is going to be the highest then, and I think it would probably work well. But again, just speculating here, I'd have to back test it. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think about that strategy. I think it would probably work, to be honest. But again, I'll have to test it out a little bit. You know. Hey, Carol. Hey, come here. All right, guys. Sorry. NQ trying hard. So, yeah, there's the SPY at 500.7s. Yeah, how about Garcia beating Haney, man? People are just making so many excuses for Haney. Like, people are making so many excuses, it's unbelievable. Like, they're just mad their boy got beat up. Dude, and he did get beat up, like, without question. It's not like I was even rooting for Garcia, but you got to call a spade here. Like, Devin Haney got beat up. Like, I get you might like him, but you got to look at it. Like, the thing I hate the most is when something very clearly happens and people are so emotional about it happening that they just kind of fool themselves into thinking it didn't happen, right? Like, obviously, Ryan Garcia beat up Devin Haney. Right? Like, obviously, he knocked him down 2 or 3 times. He beat him up, like, the whole fight. People acting like somehow Haney should have won are so crazy, man. Like, that, how emotional you gotta be. Like, accept it, your boy lost. Move on. It's not like I even like Garcia, but, like, but still. He beat up Haney. That's just objectively true. Alright, guys. Again, SPY over 500 again, which is a great sign. A great sign. When we look at the NASDAQ here, the NASDAQ's trying to move. So NASDAQ, nice little upward trend today. Hey, it should, Tyler. It should. Well, Haney's a good boxer. I'm not trying to take that away from Haney. Haney's talented. He had a bad night. You know, I don't dislike Haney. I don't think Haney's a bad boxer. I just think that anybody can lose on it. I think Ryan just has really, really unorthodox striking. You know, really, really unorthodox boxing, and he had a good game plan, and he used it. So. Taking the ibuprofen. Thank you, baby. All right. Look at NVIDIA Tesla ratio over 10 years. Yeah. I mean, again, Tesla's so down this year, though. Tesla technically red on the year. So, not just in the last 3 months for 2024, but like red over the entire 52 weeks. If you look back at Tesla over a 52-week, a yearly chart, it's red over the last year straight. No, I mean, it's not career ending. Jamie, boxing is all about how well you can promote a fight, right? It's just about how well you can promote a fight. One thing that Ryan did really well is he promoted it very well, you know? He drank a beer at the weigh-ins, like he did all this stuff, and people weren't ready for him, you know? And that's what you got to do to hype a fight. I'm okay with it, to be honest. Yeah, GM. I'm not a big Mopar guy, though, but GM had a really good earnings reaction. It's up to 45. Again, NASDAQ bouncing right at that 200 EMA level. And again, if you want to know why you should watch the 200 EMA, like, look at this. It's so obvious why you should watch it. Like, when you start to get volume kicking in, look at the volume show up, and then look at how well it respects the 200 EMA once you get good, like, genuinely good volume. Well, no, Haney was undefeated going into this fight. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, so Haney was undefeated going into this Ryan Garcia fight. All right, look at the NASDAQ bouncing right there. We'll see if it holds. Alright, so again, we do have the dollar index starting to bounce back. Look at the NASDAQ at 1739s. If we look at Tesla, again, Tesla trying to hit the 200 EMA. Yeah, I think Haney's chin is definitely suspect. Yeah, no, to be honest, I didn't watch the Haney fight. The previous to Ryan Garcia. Did he lose? Did he get knocked down, I guess is the question. If he got knocked down again, you know, I always thought the judges were a little suspect in that fight with Garcia. I thought they babied Haney, you know. They took a point away from Garcia for nothing, basically, and then Haney did it worse, and they didn't even warn him, you know. Like, I don't know. All right, guys, GDP Thursday, PCE Friday. Today we got services and manufacturing PMI. this music too much? Yeah, it's a different Barbosa. I'm assuming it's not Edson Barbosa, right? It's a different Barbosa. I don't really watch boxing. I'm an MMA guy. Like I train a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and so MMA is kind of more my style of fights to watch. But yeah. Feels like a bullish day. Should I change the music, chat? People ask me for bullish music. We put this on. Got my glow sticks out. Yeah. About to get some Vicks Vapor Rub, huh? You know. Bulls unite. Hey, I hope the market goes up today. Tesla. We'll see what happens. Tesla at 143s. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. There we go. It's a little bit. It's giving me a headache. I already got a headache, dude. All right, guys. GM at 45s right now. GM at 45s. Is it time to buy the dip in GM? I'm looking at a long-term chart. GM, I don't know. GM's have also a very bullish chart. I'm not a big Mopar guy, you know, so I'm not really a big Mopar. Whoa, we are lagging on my computer. There we go. I do like the new vets, though. The new vets are nice. All right, guys. GM breaking highs again. Oh, yeah, you're right. Mopar is not GM. That's true. Mopar is Chrysler. I get them mixed up. I don't like Fords either, though. Fords, I'm not a big fan. Fords, I'm not a big fan. Dodge, I like some of the Dodge. Like, I can get down with some of the Dodge cars. In terms of reliability, though, Mopars are not that great. So, like, Dodge is not the best, most reliable. Jeep, not the most reliable. Chrysler, not the most reliable. Fiat, not the most reliable. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big... I don't like Fords either. Mostly, really, like, again, to understand my car preferences... I grew up in the Fast and Furious age, where that's what I'm just going to call it that. I grew up, when I was 15, I was really into tuner cars. You know, the Fast and Furious movie had come out years before that, you know. And so, I was really into tuner cars. By the time I was able to drive, I was really into tuner cars, right? So I had like a Prelude 5-speed with VTEC. Loved it, freaking loved it. Would pull it right up to VTEC when the valves open longer, and just floored. It felt like a turbo spooling up. I had like a cold air intake on it that would like whistle, so everybody was like, "Ooh, it's a turbo." It really wasn't. It was just a VTEC. I don't even know if the modern cars have VTEC anymore. Do they? I haven't even been following the scene anymore. You know, I was a big JDM VTEC guy. My friend had a GSR and a Type R. But kind of fell off with that scene. I haven't really, you know, once you get old, you get a family, you stop, you know. If I bought a car now, I think those cars are cool when you're young and you don't have that much money to buy nice cars. But, yeah. No, I wish it was the imported one. It was the American made. It was a Honda. Yeah, some of you guys are really below. Some of you guys are late on the stream. Hit the live button next to the play button. You'll catch up. All right, guys. Again, we're watching for NVIDIA here. NASDAQ right at the 200 EMA. Look at GM, though, and GM's going. Let's see. I do see kind of like, this is a pretty obvious bull flag, right? On NVIDIA's chart. I don't know if it's going to bounce. Don't sue me. Not an investment professional. But that looks like a pretty obvious bull flag, no? Also, remember, chat, always, I am terrible, have no idea what I'm talking about, maybe wildly wrong about anything I say. Content is for entertainment only, and my experiences, win or losses, might be traded off stream. I might trade off stream and not tell you guys. Of course, do not copy me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Understand and consider the implications of CFTC 4.41 and hypothetical or simulated performance results have limitations and all this other good stuff. Read it, know it, understand it. Okay? Not an investment professional. Don't copy me. Top 3 worst traders of all time ever in the world right now. Again, we got the bull flag here on NVIDIA. GM's still rising, though. GM is still rising. Gotta catch back up on you guys. Yeah, we do have manufacturing PMI data. Yeah, again, maybe I don't know. I thought Mopar's Chrysler, but you can tell I don't know American cars very well because it's just never my scene. Sorry, it just wasn't. John's an 88 CRX kind of guy. No, I didn't have one of those. Although every 88 CRX that was fixed up was so fast, bro. I raced them before. I raced some CRXs, dude. They were so light. They were so freaking light. If you put a big motor in those things, they could run 10 seconds, 11 seconds, quarter miles. Just ridiculously fast. Everyone I ever raced was just crazy. Loud, too, man. People would throw big motors in them. They were just fun to watch. I never drove one, though. Tuesday Rally. I love my Ford Mustang GT. Yeah, I like Ford Mustangs, but I don't really like Ford in general. I'm just not a big American muscle guy. Like I like the old ones. If you're gonna get one, get an old one. Like I like a 67 Mustang, of course, 68 Mustang, 69 Mustang. I like old Corvettes. Like, you know, I like the new Corvettes too. I just don't like, I don't know. There's some Mustangs are nice. Like I like the 90s Mustangs, to be honest. But yeah, wildly wrong, for sure. Nissan, one of my favorite cars was a 300Z when I was growing up. Like I wanted a twin turbo 300Z, never got it. And nowadays I probably don't even want one. I'd take a twin turbo Supra though. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Chris. Hope you feel better, bro. I had an 88, 89 CRX SI. Yeah. Tesla earnings are this evening, Oscar. No, I see a lot of Teslas prime time. So again, I live in a nice area. Every time I go outside, I see a freaking Tesla. They're literally everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see Tesla cars. Most of the time, the one I see the most in my area is it's either the SUV, it's the big car. It's not the Plaid, it's not the small car. It's the big car, whatever that is. It's the Model X, I'm pretty sure, which is, I guess, their SUV. It doesn't look like an SUV. It looks like a freaking bubble car. I had a 93 Z28. Hey, nice, man. Yeah, nice, Joe. Yeah, it's the Model X. Yeah, I see a lot of Teslas. The problem, though, with Teslas is that, again, the question is about future outlook. All right, like, I don't understand. Like, Elon, I think, okay, Elon has been very open about having Asperger's, right? I'm pretty sure Elon has Asperger's, right? And again, I have family members with Asperger's. Sometimes sometimes they're oblivious to social cues and, like, social interactions, right? Like, they don't understand. I think Elon probably, you know, does understand to a certain extent, but I think I'm trying to find the best way to say this. The point I'm trying to make is that I think Elon, in a social sense, has really backed himself into a corner. I think that he's selling things to consumers. And again, prior to him being like he has been for the last few years, was that most of his audience was on the left, right? Like most of Elon's audience was on the left. It was not internal combustion engines. It was, environmentally, savvy people. Now his consumer base has kind of completely pivoted to the other side of it, right? And again, it's because he's being really outspoken politically. And so it's an interesting, like looking at Tesla outlook long term, there's obvious risks, right? There's obvious risks. He's created a lot of enemies, I think, and he's making it so that a large percentage of his old customer base might not want to buy cars from him anymore. And I think that's a very, very risky thing if you're selling things to consumers. And when you consider that most of Elon's net worth is built up in equity in Tesla, it's a very risky thing for him to do this. He's a very risky thing. Again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. I'm very apolitical. I'm not going to root for anybody's, political side. I just think it's a risky thing for a business person. I think if you're selling things to consumers, you got to be unbiased. You got to be neutral. And he is definitely not. So, no, I didn't trade Riot. The mining companies did bounce a lot yesterday, didn't they? After the halving this weekend, the miners bounced. Riot all the way up to 11, so it ripped up yesterday. It had a really nice upward trend. EV infrastructure in the UK is terrible. Yeah, there's always going to be speed bumps for EV, though. Like, I think EV is just more efficient, whichever way you look at it. Some people, and again, I hope people don't get mad at me for saying this. I think this is just, it's my own subjective opinion. But EVs seem to be more efficient than internal combustion engines. They mesh better with technology. FSD is something that you'll probably see very soon in terms of broad adoption of FSD. Sometime at least over the next 5 to 10 years for sure, but probably earlier than that. And I think that's the future of driving, and I think it relies on EV, right? I think it purely relies on EV. And so, yeah, it's something that, I think EVs are the future. They're faster, they're more efficient, mileage is better. But there's also flaws to EV, like charging is a big issue, right? This is the biggest issue I hear people bring up, is charging specifically. Charging, if you have your own home, you can buy the charger, charge it. The only real problems where you're going to run into charging issues are if you're going on long-term trips, right? Like road trips. If you're taking a long road trip, you might struggle to find charging, but it's not going to be a huge issue. You might have to wait a little bit, but pros and cons. The other thing is, environmentally, I think it's kind of break even. I think mining lithium is bad in general, and it's certainly it's certainly worse to mine lithium than to not mine lithium. But I think, Tesla having no emissions when you're driving, when more people start to use EVs, it might be a break-even thing. But who knows? Again, just my subjective opinion. People seem people pushing big oil are usually so emotional about it that it's hard for them to hear opposing views. But yeah, new Prius. Yeah, but that's something prime time that'll fix, right? So you said they're not affordable for But that's something that'll get better. Eventually they're going to have cheap EVs that come out. That's, yeah. First, we got to master SSD. Yeah, the manufacturing process for EVs over combustion vehicles is worse, but overall the lifetime of the vehicle, yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of a flat thing where mining lithium's terrible, but but you're not gonna have any emissions from the cars. So it's like a, I don't know. Yeah, but even if it takes 20 years, Jay, I think it's going to eventually happen simply because they mesh better with technology, and it's hard to do the FSD and all that stuff in a internal combustion engine, right? It's hard to do, and so I think that's going to get broad adoption of EVs. And I think, again, you got to understand, big oil understands this, right? They recognize the threat of EVs, and they're going to put out a bunch of negative articles pushing people to not like EVs, right? Because again, when the carriage came out, or when the automobile replaced the carriage, carriage manufacturers got all up in arms and said, "Oh no, this is terrible. How are we going to do this?" cars are gonna, run over carriages or whatever they say, right? Like this happens. Speed bumps happen. Previous industries fear it, and so there's always kind of bad press about it, right? But I think you got to look at it objectively and think about which one is just more efficient. And I think electric vehicles are obviously more efficient. There's also an argument for hydrogen. Hydrogen vehicles, they say, are better than all of them, but I don't know much about that industry. Dixie's breaking down here. So the dollar index is falling. Here's the SPY. So the Dixie is falling. Oh, wait. Yeah, here's the SPY. So again, SPY right at that 200 EMA level. Is it time to buy the dip? It might be. It's about to be 8 a.m. Right, for sure. But the question, straight jacket, is what about people who live in apartments? That's the response I always hear. What if I live in an apartment? Well, right now, EVs are luxuries of people that have a house, right? And again, I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just thinking that's what it is, and so. I'm not going to be around in the future, so I'm burning dinosaurs till the day I die. Yeah, but I mean, I think that when you go, if you want to get like a deeper perspective into things, right? Like, and again, I'm not trying to be religious or anything like that, but say, I think when you look at life, right? I think one of the most plausible things is reincarnation. Again, I'm not saying I agree with it, right? But what if reincarnation is real, and once you pass away, you're born into somebody else, right? If nobody's around, if the world, fails or whatever, then what does that mean for that? That's bad for you, even if, you know what I mean? Again, just to get really deep with it. Again, I don't know anything. All I'm saying is we should protect the world, and again, I'm not even saying EVs are better in that regard. I think mining lithium is bad, I don't think mining lithium is good for the world at all. But, it's super nuanced, I guess, is the point. Yeah, I've heard hydrogen. People talk about it a lot. Are you buying the dip right now on indexes? Not yet. I'm waiting for earnings season to end. If we get some big pullbacks from earnings season, I might buy the dip. Yeah, but you can't be an earthworm, brah, if there's no earth. Is my point here. So the point is you got to protect the earth. EVs are way faster, dude. Honestly, it got to the point where, like, I have the money now to where I could soup up cars, and I loved cars, right? The problem is that I could soup up a car. I could spend 30 grand in upgrades, put in a twin turbo supercharger, rebuild the rods and pistons and crankshaft and tune it and get new cams. I could rebuild a motor completely, throw twin turbos in there and all that stuff. I'm still going to get beat by a freaking Model 3, okay? I'm still going to get beat by a freaking truck. The Cybertruck's still going to beat me. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, all right, it almost hurts racing. But I think EV racing is the future. And I think one thing that you're going to see that beats almost all internal combustion engines is they're gonna use EV and they're gonna strip it and they're gonna make it super light. I saw a street racing video not too long ago where a stripped down Tesla where they took the passenger seat off, they stripped it down, they took all the weight out, was just destroying anything it went up against because it's so light. I think that's the future of racing as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna ban him. So like, I didn't even say anything about bearish outlook or anything like that. So that if that's his first comment, he's probably the guy I banned before, who was just kind of trying to troll. So I'm just gonna ban him and move on. It's not worth it, you know. Good day to you, sir. Have a great day. EV motorcycles are interesting. Honestly, that would be intense. My wife, I would buy one if I wanted one, but my wife is like begging me not to get a motorcycle. I want one, but you know, I'd get a Harley first and then maybe a street bike. Yeah, like imagine not having anything going on in your life so much to where you kind of create multiple fake accounts trying to troll me. Like, man, reevaluate your life, kid. Like, come on now, man. Like, whatever I'm doing shouldn't make you that self-conscious, bro. Like, move on with your life, dude. Like, again, sitting here trying to taunt me, it's not going to get you what you want. And again, you're just going to have to watch this channel grow more and more and more. And it's going to suck, man. It's going to burn, you know? So just kind of figure out something that you got going on. Don't focus on me so much. It's just not healthy for you, brother. You know, let it out, man. You know. Hey, my guy George. Is it George or is it Jorge? Is it like Jorge Masvidal or are you like George? You know. Spotify, are their earnings out? I know they had earnings much earlier. So Spotify at 292s. At 292s. We'll see if it holds. But I don't like Spotify necessarily. You know, I don't know. I'm just not a big bull in Spotify. Okay, it's George, my guy. Thanks, man. I privately charge, but there's charging available in my city of 85K. It's actually free where I live, although that can't last forever. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It depends on how many people are using them and what broad adoption looks like. Gold bouncing back a little bit. Gold is bouncing back. Nvidia, very choppy, sideways, neutral. Hasn't really done much. We do have manufacturing and services PMI today. I use Spotify. Personally, I love them. I don't use it that much. I'm more of like a YouTube guy. Like if I watch movies or if I listen to music, I'm usually just listening to YouTube music. Spotify does essentially the same thing, but I use YouTube more. General Electric, man, man, you know what's crazy is that, you know what's genuinely crazy for GE, man? I remember a couple years ago, right? I wanted to buy GE, right? This was back in like 2020. I wanted to buy GE. And they were so cheap, dude. They are up from where I wanted to buy them 5x. So they're up 400%. 400% relative to where I wanted to buy them. GE just done crazy things. And with their earnings today, again, they're up to 156s. So they're up a little bit more than that. So crazy. Gold is bouncing back up. So gold's at 23.19 or so. I think Pepsi earnings are out. Pepsi earnings came out earlier this morning. Before I even started my stream, Pepsi earnings were out, I'm pretty sure. Pepsi doesn't really move that much, though, so... Yeah, so Pepsi... Actually, Pepsi just released. They posted, Or no, Pepsi posted like 30 minutes ago. They posted 148 EPS for the first quarter. They see 2024 core EPS at 815. All right, so Quaker had a recall, and that's weighing on earnings, but Pepsi's profit beats estimates. So Pepsi came in better than expected. EPS of 148, revenue of 18.25. And gold up to 2300s. All right, chat. We don't really have any other big earnings, so we still got an hour and a half until market numbers show up. With manufacturing PMI data coming out at 10, so. All right, so Nvidia's still over 800. Let's see if it holds, man. Again, Tesla at 142s, 142s. Trolls, yeah, you know. But again, you got people that just kind of create. Like again, there's a couple people. Like one of them I haven't even banned. He just keeps trying to talk and act like he's just so nice and supportive, but really he's like this weird, insecure. Dude, he seems to be all like jacked up too, so he might be on steroids and just kind of like emotional about it, you know. I don't know, but you get people that are just freaking weird, man. What about this song, guys? Let me know if you like this song. I gotta change this song, man. This song's crazy. Gold, spike it up though. I don't know. Should I leave it, guys? Let's hear it. Somebody pull out the Vicks Vapor Rub and start getting some, you know, glow sticks here, guys. You know. I like this part. It's called Drift Funk, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. Okay, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do this either. I just want calm music, man. Yeah. Yeah. Red Day. Hey, well, nice, Jeremy. It must be the music, bro. Hey, must be the music. Why Vicks? It's an inside joke. We'll just call it that. All right, guys. All right, guys. So again, Tesla at 141.80s here, chat. 141.80s. Hey guys, so if you're looking at credit, if you dispute something and they verify the debt, does it restart the 7-year clock? For my credit bros and girls, do you, if you dispute it, does it reset the clock? Because I only got one collections account, but I only have one, but it was from 2018. So, hey, dude, I see you in here, bro. You're not being sneaky in here, dude. I know. I see you in here, bro. You're not being sneaky in here, dude. Love you, man. Have a good day. Love you, buddy. Have a good one, man. All right, dude. You gonna have a good day today? All right, bud. Hey, my guy Ramsey, thanks so much, dude. I think short decisions will raise prices. Yeah, those who know radical about the VIX, you know. Ugh, younger years, huh? When we were young and dumb. Dollar index at 106. Wait, so if you dispute and they prove it, it's 7 years reset? Ugh, dude. Oh, it says dispute resolved, customer disagrees. Boo. So it looks like I tried to dispute this already and they verified it. That sucks. In hindsight, though, it's the only mark on my credit. So, like... How was my credit? Oh, I see. All right, chat. NVIDIA at 805. Tesla at 141s. Are you investing long terms? What stocks are you holding? I'm going to preface this with these are just my current holdings. I'm not telling you to buy any of these. I have no idea what you should do, and I'm wildly wrong about almost everything I say. Don't copy me. Don't sue me. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. With that said and out the way, these are not stock picks, by the way. I am holding Apple, AMC, Alibaba, Chewy, Delta, Etsy, Ford, Gold, GameStop, Google, Home Depot, Honeywell, Intel, Coca-Cola, MGM, Netflix, Nike, Pfizer, Palantir, Snapchat, Snowflake, SoFi, SoundHound, Tesla, Tyson Foods, Unity, Walgreens, and Walmart. Now, to be fair, I'm green on these, so this portfolio is green. But I also lightened up this portfolio a little bit. I, added to Home Depot, but I cut a lot of trades over the last week leading into this earnings season. So I did cut a couple trades leading into this earnings season. I lightened up my portfolio a good bit. So yeah. Yeah, there ain't no way about to. Hey, how you doing? You alright? Take some cough drops with you. Alright, I love you. Your hug. Love you. Alright. Yeah, my daughter doesn't feel good. I didn't say I was green on Walgreens. I'm red on Walgreens, actually. Green on Walmart, believe it or not. That's nice. Walmart did it split, though, so I can't really see what I'm green on or what. Yeah, so far, again, a lot of these are my red portfolio. Like, these are the red stocks that I'm just kind of leaving for a little bit. I'm still in Delta. I'm green on Delta. I'm green in Ford. I'm green in Gold a lot. Green in Google, green in Home Depot, green in Honeywell, green in Coca-Cola. MGM, I'm green in it. Palantir, I'm green. Snapchat, I'm green. Tyson Foods, I'm green. Walmart, I'm green. The rest are red. But again, I'm green on the portfolio overall, so I'll take it. Tesla earnings are this evening. Hopefully there'll be clarification. What's up, Connor? How you doing, man? Yeah, it all depends on what earnings show, though. Like, earnings season will overpower technicals a lot of the time. It just depends on if companies show good or bad results. Again, Pepsi did have a nice little run up, although earnings are out with it already, but we gotta wait. Tesla earnings are gonna be released specifically at... Did his earnings whisper down? Weird. Earnings whispers down. Oh, so yeah, he had a spelling bee. So Jack is so freaking smart, man. And he's my son, so I'm gonna brag about him. Y'all will be okay. But he's so freaking smart. He doesn't even try, but he gets into the spelling bee every year. So out of like 40 kids in his class, right? Like they do preliminary testing for it every single year. He gets top 3, you know, in his 40-person grade. And so he's got the spelling bee coming up again. He placed in it. You know, and it's not just kids his age. They take like the 40 smartest kids in elementary school as the whole grade. So I think it's out of like hundreds of kids, and like every single year he has been top 5. You know, his worst year was last year. He got number 5 out of hundreds of kids, you know, but he didn't even study, and they gave him the lists and we tried to make him study. And you know, this year they're doing it a little bit different, where there's no study guide. They're not telling you the words that are going to be on it. So smart kid, man. Just freaking smart kid. Really good memory. Like really good memory. Really good at math. Like he's really, really good at math. Naturally gifted at it. So top 3 mathers in the world right now for sure. Definitely top 3 kids in the world. Yeah, coming from one of my top 3 wives in the world, Carol, you know. Good genes, guys. Good genes. All right. I don't know. Walgreens is always going to be around. I think Walgreens might be at risk for technology advancement and evolution. If technology gets good enough, people are going to get their prescriptions delivered. At the same time, though, I think people need to go to Walgreens anyway. And so I think people are going to still use Walgreens. And so I think Walgreens is a little bit more resilient than people think to businesses like that. Although, again, Walgreens is down a lot. You know, this year they're down, which is kind of why I bought them, though. What's my average here? I could add a little bit to Walgreens. Actually, I might. All right, we added a little bit to Walgreens. Just kind of fixed our average a little bit. It's down so much, I can't help it. It's a small trade, so we're not going to lose too much on it no matter what. But yeah, my favorite one is Carol's one of my top 3 wives ever. The pharmaceutical profit margin is so astronomically high, it will survive for a bit. Yeah, maybe. Spelling bee is for nerds. Well, nerds rule the world, man. You know, all the people that made fun of them growing up, they just kind of, you know, the stereotypes are true. Where like nerds run the world, man. You know, we watched this movie. I can't remember what it was called about that, but any other news today than earnings to watch out for? Yeah, we got services and manufacturing PMI data coming out later. It's at like 10 o'clock, so we have S&P U.S. Services PMI, S&P U.S. Manufacturing PMI. They're both expected at 52. The greater number over 50, the more expansion in those sectors is going on. So like if S&P Flash Services PMI comes in at 55, it means that the services manufacturing sector is growing. Same thing for regular manufacturing PMI. If it's over 55, if it's over 50, it means that sector is growing. That manufacturing sector is growing. So that comes out at 10. Yeah, we don't really have any other big 8:30 release like we normally do. That starts Thursday. Thursday, we might have something tomorrow. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, we don't really have. We have building permits at 7:30, but I think they might already be out. Yeah, building permits are already out, so we don't really have anything big. We got manufacturing services PMI at 9:45, and then at 10 o'clock we got new home sales, but new home sales are kind of nothing. Tomorrow we have durable good orders at 8:30. Thursday is when the big stuff starts. Thursday we got GDP, we got jobless claims. Friday we have PCE data. So Friday and Thursday are the biggest days. Friday is probably the biggest day for economic data. It's PCE inflation data, which is a really big report. Yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of people just peaked in high school to where, you know, like if you're making fun of who I was when I was 20, you know, when I was 15, like you're probably struggling, you know. Can you put up UPS? Yeah, UPS reported earnings. They're kind of slightly down. UPS, you got to question the longevity of a company like this as well with technology growth. I think all right. Yeah, so sorry. I was checking something else. But yeah, UPS is out with their numbers. They posted mixed results first quarter. First quarter adjusted EPS 143. Revenue of 21.7. Yeah, UPS came out better than expected for EPS, missed revenue. So they're down slightly. Look at Tesla, though. Tesla back up to 142. Kind of chopping ahead of earnings days today. It might be what it is. Visa results might be interesting. What are they this evening? Let me look. All right, guys. So, yeah. So, Tesla... 405, Visa at 405, Enphase 405, Texas Instruments 4, Seagate 405, Steel Dynamics 430, Baker Hughes 5, Chubb Corp 5, Mattel 5, 405. A couple other ones though. What's up, Tomas? All right, chat. If you haven't already as well, check out Apex. If you want to day trade with me, we might start day trading a little bit this morning. Let me get Quantower up. So again, on Apex, you can day trade the futures market. And a lot of people don't realize what futures are. In the futures market, it's very, very similar to day trading stocks. And so if you're trying to use a cash account and buy in, waiting for funds to settle and, you know, trying to buy inverse ETFs so you can get exposure to day trading, you know, the SPY or the Q, you can literally trade the same price action as the SPY or Q in futures, and there's no PDT rule there. You can day trade short, you can buy market, sell market, all that good stuff. No PDT restrictions. Apex is a great way to get started for less, right? If you don't have that much money, or maybe you're a good trader but your funds are limited, or if you just want to learn to day trade with a little bit less risk than risking thousands of dollars, instead you could try Apex's funded account program. Again, they're a sponsor. I'm biased, but what they do is they give you a demo, they test your skill. The base one's a 25K demo. They have demos all the way up to 300K, challenges all the way up to 300K in funding, where the base one's the 25K one. They're going to give you a demo with $25,000 in it. And if you can hit the profit target in that demo, I think you got to make $1,500 in profit without losing $1,500. Then they fund you 25K with a 95% or with a 90% split. So if you can, as long as you follow their rules, they fund you 25K with a 90% split, and they pay out millions. They paid out over 100 million. And really, it's a perfect middle ground. You learn how to day trade. You still learning how to trade under pressure. But if you lose, the base one's $30, right? So if you lose, you're only out $30 a month. If you're good enough to pass it, you get 25K in funding, 90% split. And again, they've paid out over $100 million. They're one of the most legit ones in the world. And it's a great way to help support the channel and really get started for less, right? It's just a good way to get started for less. Again, great way to get around the PDT rule. This is the NASDAQ. This is the QQQ price action. Same thing as the QQQ price action, just different price. And so again, if you want to use them, promo code BT, beginner trading, 2 letters, BT, will get you the max discount at all times. Check it out. Will we cut rates this year? I don't know. I think it's interesting to see. So what these earnings show will be, you know, I don't know how much they're going to influence rate cuts. The biggest thing is like if the market looks resilient, we're less likely to cut rates. But NASDAQ's still in this downward trend here. We've been in this downward trend. I kind of want to short, but it does look like we're in a downward trend. I'm going to buy this dip. I'm just going to see if we get choppiness. We've already broken down a lot. We got 4 contracts here. You can see it's very similar to day trading stocks. We'll take up to maybe 6 contracts if we need to. 63% chance of a cut in December. Those percentages are bound to change. This is Quant Tower. This is a Rhythmic account, Justin, with Quant Tower. So it's this is specifically a Rhythmic account with Quant Tower. Well, yeah, I mean, I understand the short thesis as well. I mean, you can kind of see this downward trend, but the problem is that the trend kind of broke, which is what you see me doing here. I'm going to take half of it off, lock it in. But yeah, the trend kind of broke, which is why I'm doing this, right? Again, I'm not telling you what to do. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, but like here's the trend, and it looks like the trend broke to me. Give it a little bit more seconds. We can probably hold the rest flat and get out break even on the rest, and you know, break even on the trade. Maybe get a small green. Will we cut rates this year, Chad? Is a good question. I don't know. How do you think earnings will affect Nvidia and the SPY today? I have no idea, guys. And again, nobody does. Like nobody knows. Here, so this worked really well. Nobody knows. We're up like 25 bucks. Nobody knows what anything. Do you know how much of a loaded question that is? Why? So you know how much of a loaded question that is. Nobody knows that. You know, asking me number one, not only how earnings will come in, asking me what earnings will come in and the broad impact of all these different earnings today, which include Tesla, Visa, all these different spots, right? And then also asking how the SPY or Q is going to react to those earnings. Nobody knows that. Anybody that claims to know that is just kind of telling you stuff so they could sell you a mentorship program or a course. Nobody knows. All we can do is speculate. We can look at extension. That's it. I like to look at trend breaks. You can kind of see somebody was like, hey, I would short there. This is why I don't listen to people on the internet. No offense to the person that said it. Like, it's all good. But again, what you notice here is you get a trend break. So you have this trend. You can see a very clear trend, a very clear downward trend on the NASDAQ. And this is like an you realize like this is an ICT concept as well, right? But it's not just ICT. Like a lot of traders use the same thing, you know, and they've been using the same thing. I've used these a lot. And again, what it is you see a trend, very clear, identifiable trend, and you wait for that trend to break. You got a nice trend break here. You got a nice bump. I bought the pullback. Nice little follow through. And it's not always going to work, but that's just kind of the idea of the trade. And it's all good, Tomas. I'm not trying to use you as an example, brother. It's all good, dude. Like I said, we all have our different, anything could have worked at any point in time. I think you just got to look at when the trends actually break, and this trend obviously broke, you know. Yeah, there's going to be some influence for sure, but like what kind of influence, nobody knows. Like I joked around about it last week, but it's like, bro, people literally like legit ask me, hey guys, if Jerome Powell steps outside and bumps his third toe to the right on his right foot at 2 p.m. on a Sunday, which way does the S&P 500 go? You know, I don't freaking know, man. Nobody knows. These are questions that nobody knows. Again, you got a 50-50 shot of being right. And some people bet on that 50-50 shot. And then when they're right, you never hear the end of it. And when they're wrong, it's just kind of crickets. But, you know, again, I'm going to try to be honest and just be like, hey, I don't know. SPY rip it up right now, though. So we were right on this one. This is the NASDAQ 100 futures ETF. This is the NASDAQ 100 futures contracts. Basically the QQQ price action. If you look at the Q here, same price action, same chart. Different price, but you can day trade it in futures, no PDT rule. That's why most people should be trading futures. Left foot or right foot is super important. Spotify up 10%. Yeah, they dropped earnings much earlier, didn't they? Yeah. So they dropped earnings early this morning in pre-market. All right, so SPY. All right, so we got a nice little rip up here. NVIDIA up to 807s, chat, 807s. Tesla still at 142s, right around the previous closing price. Tesla's completely flat. I mean, CRC, you're not, I mean, in CWC, you're looking at the wrong arguments, brother. Again, we're not talking about environmental impact for Tesla cars. Like, that's not what we're talking about. We never really were. The only thing we talked about is lithium mining is bad, for sure, right? I'm not saying Tesla cars are great for the environment. I'm saying EVs are much more efficient than internal combustion engines. Well, they're faster. They get better mileage for the most part, especially if you have a house. They mesh better with technology. Some of them drive themselves. And so that's the reason to get a Tesla, not it's better for the environment. Because really, mining lithium is terrible for the environment. It's not good, you know. All right, still ripping up. Look at the markets to go here. I'm going to see if any earnings drop that I missed. Pepsi CEO says consumer globally is very resilient. Lower income consumers in the U.S. is stretched and is strategizing a lot more to make their budgets get to the end of the month. Fannie Mae says the hot economy and inflation likely to keep rates higher for longer. A rise in new home listing is projected to boost sales despite a recent run up in mortgage rates. So yeah, look. So this is something that just dropped too. So some real estate news. Philly Fed manufacturing survey for April came in at minus 12.4 versus previous of 18.3. All right, so one of the ECB members says that ECB needs evidence that inflation is heading to target before rates can be cut. If favorable outlook for March is confirmed in the June projections and incoming data supports it, ECB can consider a rate cut. One of the heads of development of New York Economic Development Agency is reportedly working to draw investments from Japanese chip industry suppliers as the state seeks to build a hub for the sector around Micron's planned fabrication facilities. Tesla also planning a voluntary redundancy program with a view to lowering headcount in Germany by 400. Looking at all the kind of recent news that came out. So again, Pepsi said the consumers are resilient. Look at the NASDAQ. Look at the SPY. Look at NVIDIA rip up. So this is all good. Gold following it up too. We're actually green in equities again. You love to see it. Yeah, I see the EV Simpsons. I mean, for the reasons I just specified, CWC, you can isolate one specific flaw and use that as your whole argument. I'm bringing up multiple different efficiency arguments. Speed, mesh is better with technology. They drive themselves. Mileage is better most of the time as long as you have a home. Like, there's a lot of reasons that EVs are simply more efficient vehicles than internal combustion engines. They mesh better with tech. Look at the NASDAQ, guys. NASDAQ coming all the way back up today. Spotify just broke highs. SPY up to almost 501.50s. So we're getting a nice bounce back in a lot of different things too. Apple's still kind of red on the day, which is kind of surprising. Amazon breaking highs, so Amazon looks good. Meta. There was no report that made this move. This isn't a report. We had the Philly Fed index, but it's not. It's been out for the last like 10 minutes. And again, it wasn't an 8:30 release. So like 8:30's right here, but the Philly Fed index came in pretty much a little bit less than last time. Or a little bit higher than last time, I mean. What's your favorite crypto? Bitcoin. I know that's not what the answer, that's not the exciting answer most people want, but my favorite crypto is Bitcoin, without question. It's the most resilient crypto. You can open doors when it's cold. Come on now. You know? Like, you can open doors. That's just propaganda, bro. Like, listen. If it's freaking minus 20 outside, and you're driving a Ford Mustang outside, you don't think your doors are going to be iced? Of course they are. It has nothing to do with the Tesla, you know. That's like saying my car running out of window. That's like saying my car running out of window washer fluid is somehow like this big design flaw, you know. And it's just not. You know, again, I'm not saying EVs are perfect, but they are more efficient vehicles. I think that's objectively true, right? But environmentally, there's certainly an argument for it. Gold, Al, AMD chart. AMD at 151.50, so AMD's up a lot at 152s. Is the chart intraday? Yeah, these are all intraday charts for the most part. Again, look at the Q rip. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's safety features that'll get you out, Jay, but I don't know. I don't own a Tesla. And again, those are things that will be fixed over time. Like speed bumps are there. You know, EV is such a new sector. Speed bumps are there. Like that's inevitable when any new technology comes out. Like it's going to take a little while to fix everything, but eventually those are very fixable solutions. What about semi trucks? Is there EV semis? What was the company that rolled the truck down the hill and got the CEO got arrested for fraud? There was an EV company. I think it was NKLA is what I think it was, right? So this NKLA company, I'm pretty sure it was them. What they did was they were creating EV semi trucks, right? And they were a public company. And so during a marketing video, They pretended that the truck was running, and they pushed it down a hill to make it seem like it was running well, and the stock ripped up from it. People found out that the truck wasn't actually running, that he was simply pushing it down a hill, and he got arrested for fraud, right? I think it was in KLA. Yeah, so there's the first pullback after this big bull run this morning. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about efficiency, though, mostly, John. Yeah, I don't think anybody really knows, BB. I think we got a 50-50 shot of being right about earnings. You just gotta understand my bias, though. Like, imagine you run a stream like this, chat. Imagine you run a stream like this. And every single time you get a major event, every single time you get economic data, FOMC meetings, big tech earnings, right? Every single freaking time, right? Without fail. Every single major event in markets, you got people that show up the day before or the same day and say, this is going to be a parabolic disaster in charts, right? Parabolic disaster. The market's going to crash. Earnings are going to fail. Blah, 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 right? And again, it's all good. Have whatever opinion you want. But then you watch this specific event occur, and some of the times the market drops, but the rest of the time the market flies up. Like Nvidia earnings last time, people were saying Nvidia was going to crash and burn on the last earnings. They had a huge bull run from the earnings. And so every major event, people tell me the market's about to crash. Again, it's about 50-50. The market never crashes, number one. So if they're judging it by a big crash, they've been wrong every time. But sometimes we get bearish action, sometimes you get bullish action. It's certainly not predictable. It's certainly not anything like the edge is nothing, because it's pretty break even. And so again, we could say the same thing here. We could say, oh, it's time for a market crash. It's going to be a market disaster. I think people sensationalize it a little bit too much. And for me, I would rather just tell people I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we do dip. Maybe we do crash. You know, I'm not going to hold my breath for it, though. Right, and then when it does it, it's being manipulated, guys. Manipulation has occurred. Yeah. Nobody screams it more than somebody that's wildly wrong about an outcome. Nobody screams manipulation more. Well, don't put your Tesla on autopilot by running into a building. What, 1 out of hundreds of thousands? Seems pretty efficient to me, you know. I mean, you got to drive it yourself, so there's a reason you're supposed to watch it. You can't just not do anything. Full FSD is not really there yet, or I guess full FSD is redundant because FSD stands for full self-driving. But point is, in such a small percentage of them, I think that's pretty efficient, you know. And I think when you consider recalls and drama and trouble that you get in all these other ICEs, you certainly see it a lot. You got the guy from, if anybody's ever seen, what's the movie? He played the dude on Star Trek, right? He played an Alpha Dog. Is that it? Yeah, he played in the movie Alpha Dog. The kid in Alpha Dog passed away because he was parked on like an incline, and I think it was like a Dodge motor, right? A Dodge motor. He passed away because he put it in Parker, he put it in something, and it kind of slowly like ran him over, basically. And so again, it doesn't happen a lot. Stuff like that is inevitable in any car. I don't think we could use that as an argument for them being somehow less efficient because that happened out of hundreds of thousands of times. I think anytime you got a car, weird stuff can and does happen. Tesla's down 30%-ish year to date. Yeah, true. Well, I don't know. It depends on which year you're looking at. Tesla currently, it depends on where you're looking at. If we're looking at the highs at 299, it's down over 50%, right? So its highs were at 299. Year to date, if you're looking at 52 weeks ago, which is exactly a year ago, Tesla is not down that much. Tesla is down. Tesla's down like, I don't know, like 15% or something like that. in the last 52 weeks. If we're looking at exactly the year, then it's certainly higher for sure. But yeah, that number sounds right. Yeah. I don't think we get the crash. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be skeptical when I see so many people tell me a market's going to crash every single major economic event. And you would think at a certain point that they would just kind of be like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. You see it a lot with like penny stock traders, right? Penny stock traders will shame you if you don't like their penny stock. If they invested in CEI and you don't like CEI, they will shame you, make fun of you, try to make you feel horrible about not liking CEI. And even though their stock is just kind of, you know, they still get mad at you for whatever reason. It's kind of like the same people who trade the same strategy and then lose, right? You got a lot of people who trade high of the day breakouts. High of the day breakouts suck. They don't work, right? Most people at highs are taking profit. So you're going to get rejected at highs and lose money. But for some traders, they're just trying to trade high of the day breakouts. They don't know why it's not working. They just keep on doing the same thing. You know, Einstein's definition of insanity is continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. And you got a lot of people that keep on trading high of the days. They don't know why it's not working. They don't change their strategy. They just keep on keeping on and complain about the market being rigged. It's like you got to switch your strategies up sometimes. It's not going to work every time. All right, so we're going to buy this dip. We got 2 contracts, 3 contracts now. Oh my goodness. That was a big drop, dude. I got to cut this probably. Now it's right back up. That's weird. I would sell, but like it retraced so fast. Did something come out? Let me see. Did some earnings drop? Okay, so GM CFO says company expects to return to profits in Q2 overseas. Wow. So we're right back up already. Weird. I'm going to cut half of this and just protect the trade. Too much risk from that big downwick. Even though that downwick signifies bullish strength, it means bullish pressure. I just don't trust it enough. Yeah, I could have held and made some more money, but again, it's just too much risk when there's that much volatility happening short term. I just gotta be smart and protect myself. All right, we just locked in profit. All right, so we're up about $40 or so. Not bad. Building up a cushion on the day slowly. I use a bunch of different sources for news. I'm not going to tell people exactly where I get my news from, but we use a bunch of different sources, to be honest. All right, chat. So I'm looking here. Again, we do have manufacturing services PMI dropping in about an hour. All right, so this is both ISM data. Let me make sure. No, none of it's ISM, so it's S&P Flash and services. I think this is market economics. Okay. Okay, yeah, so this is S&P. All right, chat. So we did get another bounce. I should have held that position a little bit better. Again, maybe GM talking about hitting profits this year is helping boost stuff. All right, so Kimberly Clark sees some stuff. GMCO says he expects to return to profits in quarter 2. Overseas expects fiscal year cruise expenses to be around 1.7 billion on their earnings call. Again, you see a U-shaped breakout pattern on the Nasdaq here, so we're starting to test the top of that range. All right, so again, it should be a fun day. Tesla earnings today too, chat. So y'all be careful. All right, there we go. I kind of want to buy this dip. I don't know what to do here, whether I should buy it or not. Don't let your dreams become memes. I like it. This is the micro NASDAQ 100 futures contract. And again, if you want to day trade futures, try Apex. Apex funded account program in the futures. They give you a demo, test your skill. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you're only going to lose what you pay for it. Most day traders lose. Everybody thinks they're going to be an outlier savant day trading and turn $1,000 into $100K. You know, if they follow the right mentor, that's total crap. That's not going to happen. Most day traders lose money. And so if you want to day trade, limit your risk with a funded account program. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ in futures. There's no PDT rule. Patterns are very similar to blue chip patterns. There's just no PDT restrictions. And again, it just limits your risk. Your risk is very limited in funded account programs because you only risk what you pay for the combine or the challenge instead of risking thousands of dollars and probably losing your first couple accounts with thousands of dollars. The base challenge on Apex is $30. The top one is like a couple hundred, right? So your risk is limited regardless of whether you go with the big boy $300,000 account, which they do have, or the small account with 25K. Really, even the small account, chat, you can use up to 40 micro contracts, I'm pretty sure. And so, yeah, even in the small account, you can use 4 E-mini contracts or 40 micros. You got to make $1,500 in profit. Again, they've paid out over $100 million, so a great way to learn how to day trade with just less risk. And again, if you want to check it out, they are a sponsor. Use promo code BT, Beginner Trading BT. Check it out. You can also use triple B as well if you want. But look at the market rip. Let's see if it breaks this high. Nasdaq's flying up right now. Nvidia's up to 807. It's almost 810s. We're actually green in the equities on the day. That's nice. Apple is actually green now too. Hey, nice, CJ. Congrats. All right, so we got a little dip now here. We'll see if it holds. Still too much money in the system chasing too much nonsense. Yeah. All right, we got a little dip. Tell Tesla earnings stocks can't go down anymore, right? Of course they can. Anything could happen. Today seems like a good day for the bankers. I haven't even looked at bank stocks recently on a long-term chart. Still very strong this year. Bank of America. See, banks are up so much. He cannot rely on robotaxi alone, way too far out. Well, I mean, he's not relying on it alone, of course. Like, again, every time I go outside, I see Tesla cars. You know, now the problem is this, right? The real problem is that, you know, I've seen somebody else post about this, but this is something I've been saying for years, which is that the problem with Tesla is simply they're not as big of head turners anymore. They're not as big as status symbols as they used to be. You know, back then when Teslas was a little bit more rare, like I would say like 4 years ago, when you see a Tesla, you'd be like, ooh, look at Tesla. And I've said this argument over and over again. I do repeat myself, so I'm going to say it again. Years ago, you used to see a Tesla be like, ooh, Tesla. I see one every freaking day now. Now, when I see a Cybertruck, I think the good thing about the Cybertruck, even if the margins aren't good, is because when I see the Cybertruck, I go, ooh, My wife hated the Cybertruck when I showed her pictures of it online. When she saw one in person, she was like, that's a cool looking car, right? So she completely changed her tune when she saw one in person. And so I think Cybertrucks still are that status symbol, basically because they're hard to get right now. But I think Tesla, you know, I'm not going to be surprised if it sees a turnaround in sales, just because it's no longer the big status symbol that you used to think it was, right? Like I guess like I would say 4 or 5 years ago, it was as unique of seeing one as like a Ferrari or a Lambo or like a Mercedes GTR or just GTR Skyline or whatever it is, right? Like they were that rare to see. And so people were interested in looking at them. Nowadays, nowadays they're just not. Nowadays they're just not that rare. Now I see one, you know, usually every time I'm at a red light, I see one somewhere in my area at least. And again, I've got a little bit different view though, just because my area, never mind. But yeah, I think they're just not as much of a status symbol as they used to be. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. It means more broad adoption of Teslas. The question though is just, I think what Tesla needs to do outside of the Cybertruck, Tesla needs to put some curves on its vehicles. I think they're too plain looking. I think the next step, the Plaid's dope, but like the next step for Tesla is to create a Ferrari, Lamborghini curved car, like a car that has like a Corvette-like curves. Corvette recently upgraded their body style to much more curvy, much wider stance. Beautiful car. I love the new Corvettes, right? Tesla needs to do the same thing because Tesla has the speed to back it up. Like sleepers are cool. Curves are cooler, in my opinion. I think Tesla needs to come out something curved, fancy, nice. I think I get the sleeper look. I get all that stuff. But I think if they want to do well, that's something they should consider. Because I think that's going to be the next status symbol where the Cybertruck's cool, but people are going to be having like these freaking Ferrari, Lamborghini-like vehicles. I think that's what some people want, and I think the margins would probably be pretty solid on them. But let me know what you guys think. Yeah, my wife said the same thing about the Cybertruck Apollo. But again, then she saw one in person, and she said her exact quote was, "That's an impressive-looking vehicle," is what she said. Because they're cool, man. They're cool. You see one in person, they're big. You know, they're cool. merger with Rivian. Rivians are cool for trucks, but yeah, Corvette did copy Ferrari for sure. But that's okay. I think the new Corvettes are really nice looking. I mean, they all look the same, but the problem is that I see too many of the Corvettes. Like, Corvettes are kind of like a working man's Ferrari, you know? Like, Corvettes, they're not that expensive, but they look expensive. So like they're you could get a new Corvette for like 70K, you know, 75, 80K. And while they look cool, they're not really, they're not big, they're not the status symbol people want them to be. They're just not, you know, again, they're cool looking cars though. Multi-trillion. Tesla had a small roadster. Yeah, like 12 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can get one for 75K right now, the 2024. You're not going to get the top of the line one, but I don't know. I just see so many of them, man. Yeah, I see one for sale, 68,300. You know? So they're cool, but they're the only car company that's also software as a service. Yeah, 100%. You know, again, they're a tech company as well. How is important is manufacturing PMI? It's important. It's not crazy important. Tesla earnings are going to be much more important and impactful over markets than PMI data, but they're still somewhat relevant. Like, they're still going to move markets a little bit, I would assume. My car is 2011, 100K miles on it. I hope to get another 100K, no car payments. Who has 75K to spend on a vehicle? Or better question, why would you want to? I mean, I think it's different though when you start making more money. I'm not saying you don't make a lot of money. I don't know how much money you make, but I think there's a difference, right? It depends on if you have FU money or not. If you have FU money, like, and you don't know what to do with it, right? Like, a lot of people are going to gravitate towards getting cool cars. Because number one, if it makes you happy, like, life isn't all about budgeting, you know? Like, I get budgeting, and again, I'm not, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, of course. And it depends on how much money you have and how much money you make. If you're making 50 grand a year, sure, like, do not buy it. One of the worst decisions you could ever make is financing a new car, right? Financing a new car is one of the worst decisions you can ever make, especially right now. You locks you into long-term debt for what? You know? Again, you could buy a used car, you know, probably pay for it or at least get much less payments for it in financing, you know, for 40% less, 50% less. And so buying a new car just makes no sense. It depreciates so much just driving it off the lot. You know, and for whatever reason, a lot of people just finance brand new cars. Again, it's a terrible decision financially, for most of them, you know. But again, it depends on how much you have. Yeah, 100% pawn. Will Tesla stock go up or down from earnings is a really interesting question. I don't know. Again, Tesla earnings, they're not really expecting that much for earnings, right? When you look at Tesla earnings, they're not really expecting some crazy good earnings call. If we look at, like, Tesla, let me show you guys this. So if you look at Tesla, so if you look at Tesla's EPS graph, right? So here's Tesla. You know, last time they showed 226. Now, this time they're expecting 49 cents. a share, 49 cent a share EPS. So they are literally expecting this right here. They are legit expecting this. So, I mean, you know, their revenue is 22.7 billion. So, I mean, we can look at their revenue as well and see what they're looking like there. But, yeah, they're not really expecting a lot. So, again, here's Tesla's revenue graph. Same kind of thing here. And again, Tesla expecting 22.7, almost 23 billion in revenue. So they are expecting lower revenue as well. So they are expecting more so close to like this one right here. So they're expecting a decrease in revenue and EPS. So it'll be interesting to see what they show. As you get older, you could care less of what people think of you or what car you drive. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends, man. You know, some people do for sure, but it depends on how much you make. It really does. You know, if you're making 50K a month, you know what I mean, and you can buy a really cool car in a month and a half paid out, and then do whatever. I mean, you know, it depends, right? It depends on how much money you have. Because if you're making at a certain point, I guess the point is like. I'm not claiming to be the most successful person. I'm going to preface this with like, I'm not claiming to be some super successful person or anything like that, right? But it's all relative to who you talk to. I've said it before, but like, you think 5K a month is a lot until you meet somebody making 10. You think 10K is a lot until you meet somebody making 20. You think 20K is a lot until you meet somebody making 50. You think 50K is a lot until you meet somebody making 250. You think 250 is a lot until you meet somebody making $1 million. Like, you know, it's all relative to who you know and who you talk about. And so you gotta understand. There's some people who are making $1 million a month. Like, of course, they're not gonna care what kind of car they buy. They can buy whatever they want. You know, they can buy 2 McLarens every month. You know, and so it really just depends. But sure, I do agree if you're making 50K, 60K, 70K, less than 100K a year, you know, don't finance a new car, in my opinion. Top 3 worst advice givers ever in the world right now. Look at the SPY break. NASDAQ breaking highs here. NVIDIA still flat, though, at 806. Tesla rising back up at 144s. I guess the point is like when you make enough money, right? And this is something that I've experienced. Like you make enough money, you don't know what to do with it. Like sure, you could save it, right? Like you could save it. You can, and I'm not claiming to make a lot, all right? But sure, you could save it, and you do save it. But once you save and buy like house rentals, properties, whatever it is, at a certain point, you don't know what to do with the rest. You know, sure, you could save it away for your nest egg, but I think when you want to live your life, experiences are valuable, you know, like you don't want to just spend your whole life saving away, never enjoying anything. And so you got to make sure you enjoy yourself every now and then. And if something makes you happy, you know, as long as you're not extending yourself financially, I think it's okay. All right, chat. We're right at the previous highs of the day. Again, NVIDIA's not really following us up. This is mostly Tesla, it looks like. Tesla up to 144s. Dude, I would never buy a yacht. Not unless I had like 100 mil. If I had 100 mil, I still probably wouldn't because yachts are freaking expensive. They're expensive not just to buy, but to maintain. Somebody told me it takes, what, 30K a month to maintain a yacht? I'm good. That seems stressful. Yeah, I buy Pokemon cards too, mostly for my son. Like, I went to Collect-A-Con a couple weeks ago. I bought him some stuff. He has fun with it, man. And it kind of teaches him speculation and investing, right? Like, I tell him, yeah, you buy, you sit on these. I bought him a bunch of cards, like Charizards, all this different stuff. And I tell him, just sit on these long term. They might appreciate, they might not. And if they don't, it's all good. Like, you had some fun, you know? Rent a boat, never buy one. Yeah, I get seasick too much, dude. I really do. No, I get really, really seasick. Hey, nice, Daphne. Yeah, for sure, Curtis. I understand for sure. I get seasick too much. Like, I really do. I'm not a boat guy. I get really seasick. All right, so we're testing this high of the day again, man. Green day in portfolio-wise. Somehow. Yeah, my parents used to give me Dramamine. I used to just sleep through it. Again, I'm just not a sailor. Like, I'm not a sea person. I get seasick. If I sit in the back seat too long in a car, I get seasick. I get sick too. My son's the same way. My son does the same thing. All right, chat. So we did break highs again on the NASDAQ here. We got about 15 minutes until the market opens and about 30 minutes or so until we have manufacturing and services PMI coming out. All right, so now we're pulling back a little bit. All right, chat, we got 17.430. I think it's very important to have fun, but not get over leveraged by buying things you really can't afford. Yeah, but that's not who I'm talking about. Again, I think a lot of people do. I agree financing a new car usually a terrible idea. You can get a equivalent used car for much less, and it's going to be just as reliable. It's just not a good decision. I think Dave Ramsey has a lot of good concepts and qualities. The only thing I disagree with him regarding Dave Ramsey is simply that I think it's important to take risks when you're young. I think if you're okay. I think that if you don't like working, or if you really want to make real money, and I'm not talking about 100K a year. 100K a year is nothing, right? No offense. I'm not insulting anybody that makes 100K a year, but with inflation and all that stuff, it's not going to be as good as you think it is. What I'm saying is that if you want to really make good money, and again, it's not everybody. Some people are going to be content working corporate jobs, all that stuff. But if you want to make real money, you have to take risks when you're young. You have to risk money. I'm not talking about in trading. I'm certainly not talking about day trading. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about starting businesses when you're young. You have to risk money. You can't just save away all your money. If you save away your money, you're just going to lose it to inflation over time. Like I've said this before, I'll say it again. I want to live good now, not when I'm 65, right? And in order to live good now, I have to take risks. And so I think the whole concept where you should save so you can live good when you're 65, like, no offense to the 65-year-olds out there, but at that point my life's already ticking away. Like, I want to live good when I'm young, and in order to do that, you got to take risks. If you don't invest in things, you're going to lose your money to inflation, and everything can be an inflation hedge: gold, real estate, S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow, bonds, CDs. Like, they're all inflation hedges. But you have to do something with it. If you let your cash just sit without earning money for you, you're going to lose it over time. And it's important for people to really understand that. A lot of people are skeptical of the S&P and the NASDAQ. S&P will give you about 10% on average every year. But there are risks, of course. Yeah, UPS Visa earnings. Yeah, we have PMI today at 9:45. Is when it is, George. 9:45. If you're 40 and have no kids, you can swing for the fences. Yeah, I'm the type of person where I want kids. And some people don't want kids, and that's okay. You don't have to have kids. I think some of the people that don't have kids are going to regret it when they get older, though. You want family around. Like, you want people that care about you as you get older. And, friends are great. And again, some people can subsidize it with friends, and that's fine. Or supplement it with friends, but I don't know. Yeah, having kids got me right in the world. I was a complete, screw up before I had kids, man. Having kids changes your life, changes your outlook. Even if you have more responsibilities, like, sometimes more responsibilities are good. Like, I was a screw up before I had kids. Super selfish. Only cared about myself. Having kids will just kind of, having somebody that you have to put in front of yourself regularly changes who you are as a person in a good way. High risk, high reward. Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, only risk money that you're okay with losing. But gold up to 23.30s. No, I like Dave Ramsey. I'm not even saying I disagree with Dave Ramsey. What I'm saying is that if you want people to truly be financially free, where they don't have to work a corporate job, they have to take risks when they're younger, and I think that's something he doesn't preach about as much, right? I think everybody should understand that, like, thing where you have to take risks to make money. All right, guys, we got 9 minutes. Banks are so extended on the upside, though. I just don't know if I want to buy them. Yeah, no, for sure. No, not having kids is also a respectable choice. I can respect people who choose not to. I'm not judging them in any way. I understand completely. Just my own subjective view on it is like, I want kids. My grandmother recently passed away, like less than a year ago, and she was like 95, right? She had her whole family around her, so That's something that I want. I just want a big family. I have about 25K in CLSK Leaps. I haven't really messed with Leap options like that. Although I do understand long-term options is what Leaps are. They're basically long-term options. All right, chat. We're testing the top of this range. Again, this is the previous high of the day. Tesla at 144s. Hey, congrats, Mike. That's great, man. Did he really? Did he lose the lawsuit or did he just get sued? Because I'm sure people that are that big, you know, they get sued all the time, I'm sure. It's about whether it's actually valid lawsuit. It's one of the reasons y'all hear me plug everything. I literally tell you I'm sponsored in every freaking way I could. Because I don't, you know. All right, chat. So again, Tesla up to 144s almost. Q up to 421s. Nvidia up to 805. Still testing the VWAP 200 EMA prior to the open. Banks are up a lot. We did have some earnings that drop. And today we have Tesla earnings. Again, Tesla earnings at the closing bell today. It's a big day for markets. It's a day where you want to be careful. You want to be smart today. We could have choppy action leading into the open. It's something you want to be very, very smart with. Again, we could have choppiness into the open, guys. So just be careful today, chat. It's important. Filed by some listeners of a show who alleged they were defrauded by a timeshare exit company that advertised on this program. Yeah, so this isn't that he failed to yeah, so this isn't because he failed to acknowledge their sponsorship. This is because this is because basically the company that he was promoting was a timeshare exit program. Basically a company that claimed that they could get you out of your timeshare contracts is what this was. Some of the people behind them essentially said that that didn't happen and that they defrauded them. Again, I think this will be hard to find because, okay, so if when they signed up for that program, number one, you can't get mad at Dave Ramsey for it as long as he acknowledges it's a sponsorship. You know, it's the same reason you can't get mad at people that promoted FTX. Right? Like same kind of concept. Sponsors are sponsors. You got to get mad at the actual company. The second thing is that this specifically is if the company, when the consumer signed up, said something along the lines of, hey, we can't guarantee we're going to get you out of this contract, and they still tried to get them out the contract, even if they failed, it's not going to work. The lawsuit's not going to work. Legally, in my opinion, it's not going to work, right? Like they... You know, I think people wanted to get out of timeshares. The company tried to get them out and failed. And as long as it had a success rate in some people and it still tried to get them out, you know, that's different. I think, I don't think it's going to hold. Right. People that get locked into timeshare contracts. Timeshare contracts can be sneaky too, dude. They really can be sneaky. I was at Disney World. Or no, I was at, man, where was I at? I was at, Six Flags. Right. I was at Six Flags. People had me spin a wheel, right? They had me spin a wheel and they say, hey, we're going to give a giveaway. And so I spin a wheel and I land on some type of giveaway. And they're like, oh, you just want a trip to Florida. You just want a beach trip to Florida. All expenses paid beach trip to Florida. And so I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I go ask the person, I said, hey, is this a timeshare? And she said, oh, maybe. I mean, it's not a timeshare exactly. You know, we're going to. And as soon as I heard that, I left, right? So they can get really sneaky. If anybody claims that you want anything and they're going to pay for a full expense paid vacation for you, they're trying to sell you a timeshare. Run away, you know, run away from it. Yeah, I don't see anything about him not acknowledging it was a sponsor. So from what I see, he did acknowledge it was a sponsor. He did tell people. But again, I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm just reading one article on CBS about it. So, yeah, I might be wrong. You know, this was last year as well. So this was last year. And again, this lawsuit was dismissed. So, oh, wait, let me see. All right, Chad, we got the market open again, a minute and a half. Never mind. This is a different lawsuit. All right, chat. Here goes the market open in 1 minute, chat. 1 minute. Yeah, free raffles, free vacations are almost always timeshares. Yeah, so I'm reading this Dave Ramsey lawsuit. All right, there's the opening bell, chat. There's the opening bell. Again, market just broke highs. Nvidia ripped up to 810s and now pulled back. Tesla up to 144s, tapped it, and now it's coming back down. We have a small profit on the day heading into this. A small profit on the day. We'll see if we can make some money today, chat. Big pullbacks, dips. Yeah, we're going to stream Tesla earnings for sure today. They're going to do our earnings call. We're going to stream it all. We're going to also stream the results when it comes out. So that'll be this evening at the closing bell. Yeah, all good, Fro. All right, so big dip in markets, Chad. Big correction in markets. Again, I'm kind of betting the market might be flat today, to be honest, here. I'm going to short this. It's a little early after the closing opening bell to short, but again, we're going to take one contract, try to let it work a little bit for us here, and then we're going to add on a bounce, maybe 3 contracts total. We got a cushion on the day. Just getting punished here on this contract here. Whoa. Yeah, we're going to have to cut it. So we lost a little bit. We're down $50 now. We'll have to be a little bit more patient with the rest of this. Nvidia up to 810s though. Nvidia looking strong. Tesla's still down though. Again, I'm going to take one contract here, chat. One contract. Again, the reason I'm taking one contract, I'm going to try to be a little bit more patient with it too, is because a lot of the time ahead of big earnings days, the market's flat and choppy. And so I'm going to take one contract up here and try to be patient with it. I'm kind of shorting a top though. And so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And it looks like I'm wrong right now. Q ripping back up. Alright, yeah, we're... Oh my gosh, I just added to it. I didn't want to add to it. I really didn't want to add to this. Alright, we took out half of the contract here, so we ended up actually saving some money on this trade. We'll get out the rest flat. Kind of protected ourselves from a loss, bigger loss there. I'll cover this break even, yeah. Tesla coming all the way back down though. I'm worried we're gonna get choppiness today too, though, chat. I could have held this and made some money, but it's alright. Nvidia coming all the way back down. My short idea was correct too. It's all right. We're down currently. We made a little bit on the E-mini. We are down $60 on the day. So my short idea would have freaking worked too. Again, the logic is like, I'm going to have to get better at trading it. We're trading these small. The logic is choppy days. Usually we have sideways action. So shorting tops around choppy days might work. Yeah, again, we do have 10 minutes before PMI data drops, chat. 10 minutes. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode as well here, team. So, yeah. Alright, so we did get a bounce right back. Again, choppy range at the opening bell. I'm going to short this here. It's kind of a little bit different trading strategy than I usually use. We'll take a couple contracts here. And we're going to add into this, looking for short choppy action to continue. Alright, we're going to take half off. Just kind of protect the trade, lock in some profit. Do I want to add back to this? Alright, we're going to add to this. Alright, we just took another half off. Gonna get out the rest break even. Alright, so yeah, we're only down about $40 on the day. We're kind of slowly, we're learning how to trade this. This is a strategy I'm trying to build. Again, especially ahead of this economic report data. I'm going to short this again. Maybe try to get into 4 contracts as it pushes towards the top and just kind of keep attacking this choppy sentiment. Boom. Alright. Alright, we're out. Alright, so yeah, we're basically flat on the day. We just made all of our money back. So again, the idea so far has worked. Again, with PMI data dropping in 9 minutes. The data's on services and manufacturing PMI. All right, look at Nvidia bounce back. Very strong move. All right, we're gonna short it again at the top. We'll see if we can get green on the day for once. We have 2 contracts. We'll get into maybe 4. We will take profit quickly if it goes in our favor, though. So there's 3. I don't know if I like Nvidia ripping up. I'm going to use 4 contract increments here, though. All right, we took half off there. Just protected the trade. We're almost completely flat now. I want to go green on the day, though. There we go. If I took profit here, I'm going to be green. There we go. All right, so we are green on the day, chat. What a day. Look at this graph. I'll take it. PMI is not the biggest release, though. It's not really going to have some type of... I mean, I don't know. It might. I don't know. Again, 52 is what's expected for both. For both manufacturing and services. PMI 52 is what's expected. So... All right, guys, we got 6 minutes here, chat. 6 minutes until PMI data comes out. 6. All right, PMI data is coming here, chat. Nvidia has broken all the way down under. About 5 minutes left, team. All right, so we're shorting the top on that regular E-mini, and it's worked great. We're up about 50 bucks on the day. So, not bad. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys see how I kind of develop a strategy. I'm sure we got a lot of traders. Don't copy me. I do not want you to copy me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I developed this strategy, and it makes sense, right? Because, again, ahead of economic data days, ahead of big earnings, ahead of big tech earnings, specifically FOMC meetings, CPI data, stuff like that, the market can and will be choppy a lot of the time. And so waiting for economic data to report out like PMI data and then attacking choppy neutral activity makes perfect sense in my opinion. But again, I might be wrong. Maybe I can't guarantee it's going to work. Nobody can. Don't sue me, chat. But so far it's been working, and we used it to get green on the day. Kind of trading this chop back and forth. All right, chat. We got 4 minutes here. 4 minutes, team. Yeah, drop shipping just saturated. Like, there's no strategy here other than you buying when it's going down and selling when it goes up. Yeah, just like here's a quote from you from 4 days ago. And again, no offense to you, but it kind of shows how much you know about markets. This is your quote right here, bro. And yes, I am trolling you a little bit. All blue chips were once penny stocks. What a brilliant quote here, you know. I gotta troll you a little bit. Hey guys, we got 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes. Look at the NASDAQ rip up here. Specifically the Q. Tesla trying to fight back. Nvidia ripping up to 810s here. What about Apple? What's Apple doing? Apple's up as well. Amazon down. Meta broke high. So Meta up to 494s. Good day to you, sir. Oh, man. See, look, guys, look up the Dunning-Kruger effect here, chat. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Look up what it means, what it is. You're welcome. All right, guys. NASDAQ at 17.47s here. Nvidia breaking highs here, chat. All right, guys. We got about a minute left. About 1 minute. To put it, it's such a ridiculous statement. All blue chips were penny stocks. It really shows a lack of fundamental understanding about the stock market and in general, really. Most blue chip companies actually IPO like Reddit, right? They IPO and they're immediately $40, $50 a share, right? Thinking that all blue chip stocks come from penny stocks shows a fundamental misunderstanding about markets, chat. Hey, we got less than a minute here, less than a minute. My trolling is done. Here we go. Let's see what we get. We'll see if we get anything good today. All right, here goes PMI. 40 seconds, chat. 40 seconds. $52 is expected for both services and manufacturing PMI. The greater number over 50, the more strength in manufacturing and services. The more expansion, technically, in manufacturing and services. And again, choppiness is what we were betting on. So... all right, guys, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Let's see if this affects markets. And here we go. 49 for manufacturing PMI, both under expected. Both under expected, showing less strength in services and less strength in manufacturing. Specifically, manufacturing PMI came in at 49.9, lower than 52. Services PMI came in at 50.9, lower than 52. So again, both lower than expected releases here. Lower than expected for both of these, chat. So lower than expected. The market seems to like this report. Look at this rip. Again, lower than expected. Maybe signaling less inflation fears is what this could mean. Look at the Q rip. Look at Nvidia rip. Look at Tesla rip. NASDAQ is up a lot. Gold still trying to pump up to 2340s. Bond yields ripping down here. So, yeah. Both lower than expected for manufacturing and services PMI. We'll put both of these on screen, but both lower than expected here. All right, guys, Q at 423s, 423s, Nvidia at 812s here, Tesla at 143. So everything's ripping up. Again, if you want to day trade with me, day trade with Apex. Apex is a funded account program. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. This is my third plug all day. We've been streaming for over 3 hours. I think it's my third plug. So again, deal with it. We're going to plug. Shameless plug here. I'm biased. They're a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. Understand CFTC 4.41, all that good stuff. They pay me money. I'm biased because they pay me money. But again, check them out. If you want to learn to day trade with limited risk, this is a 100K funded account that I'm trading on right now. 100K funded account. To get funded, I had to hit a profit target on a demo and pass their challenge without hitting the max loss and following their rules. They have challenges from 25K in funding all the way up to 300K in funding, and they've paid out over $100 million. They paid out $25 million plus last month to their funded traders. And the best part is that if you want to learn to day trade, again, most day traders lose. That's probably true here as well. Most day traders will probably lose here because the same way people lose on Thinkorswim or anywhere day traders trade, they lose. But it's a lot cheaper to lose on Apex than putting up 5K and losing that. And there's There's no PDT rule. You can day trade essentially the QQQ price action in the NASDAQ, which is what you see me trading, essentially the SPY price action in the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract. And again, you can day trade short. You can see I buy market, sell market. Patterns are very similar to blue chip day trading patterns. There's just no PDT rule. And so again, if you want to learn to day trade, they give you a demo, test your skill. If you lose, you only lose what you pay for it. The base one's like 30 bucks. If you're good enough to pass it on that base one, you get 25K in funding, 90% split once you're funded, and you get to keep your first 25K in profit. Although again, they are a sponsor. I'm biased. I'm using Quant Tower on Rhythmic is what I'm using on the left side here. Quant Tower is the software platform I'm using through Rhythmic is what it is. This is a Rhythmic Apex account. You can use my promo code BT. Beginner trading, BT, 2 letters. BT if you want to get the max discount. Bond yields are dumping down. The 10-year yield dropped down to 4.59%. And we still got Tesla earnings today. Again, NVIDIA up there to 812s, 813s. Tesla at 142.90s. Yeah, I like TOS. TOS is my favorite platform, to be honest. It's legit my favorite one. Again, today we got Tesla earnings. Gold all the way back up to almost green on the day chat. So gold is almost green. Well, the market interpreted it as bullish, but what the data actually showed is that we had less expansion in manufacturing and services. So we actually showed weakness in manufacturing and services, and the market is interpreting that as a positive, probably because of inflation worries, right? People are fearing inflation, and so strength in those sectors could make inflation worse. And so in that regard, the market reacted favorably to lesser data because the market could be fearing inflation. Again, we might also reverse and come back down. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move. So that's very possible here as well, especially if we're chopping leading into big tech earnings today and tomorrow. So just be careful, guys. I don't know what the market's going to do. I just think we're kind of choppy today. I think it'll correct. Maybe. Hoping is a better word. Do y'all want me to stick around for the next 10 minutes and cover? We got new home sales in 10 minutes, expected at 669,000. And on those new home sales reports, all right, so look, here's a big turnaround. Again, though, my bet was choppy action, guys, with tech. Again, listen, Jay here says I don't have a strategy or whatever it is, right? But again, I don't think y'all are listening to what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that normally, right, you would buy strength. You know, so you're going to buy this dip and try to ride it back up and ride the bounce, right? That's like a normal trading strategy. Ahead of big economic reports, earnings, stuff like that, like tech earnings are today, Tesla earnings are today. Ahead of those reports, right? And specifically what we did leading up to this was manufacturing and services PMI. Ahead of those days, you have a very high probability of getting choppy action, right? Where it goes like this, right? And so if that is there, right, risk reward wise, I think you're going to have a little bit more edge shorting the tops up here and covering at the bottom of the range. And so attacking a sideways range like this, you know. And again, if you look at NVIDIA, that's kind of what we did. We used NVIDIA as a gauge. And so when NVIDIA got to the tops, we shorted it. When it pulled back, we covered it. Got to the top, shorted it. Pulled back, we covered it. Got to the top, shorted it. And that worked. The SPY, we did it in a very similar way as well. The NASDAQ here. Again, when we bounced up here, we shorted this. Covered on the pullback. You know, same thing here a lot as well. You got choppiness up and down. We shorted towards the top, covered towards the bottom. Same strategy. And so I think it makes sense. I think it's going to work the best ahead of larger economic data outside of like manufacturing and services PMI today. And so I think it's going to work better. I think it's going to work better ahead of like big economic reports, like maybe ahead of JOLT or ahead of the FOMC meeting. Like when the FOMC happens, I think it's going to work better the day leading up to the FOMC meeting at 2 p.m. You know, I think those are times where shorting the top and covering the bottom of the range is much better to attack. But again, it's something I'm still testing and learning. But there's certainly conditions and strategies behind what I'm doing. I'm not just clicking buttons or randomly buying or anything like that. Okay, we'll stick around. We got like 7 minutes left, so we'll stick around for that. And then we'll... right, chat. Again, Tesla up to almost 144s here. 144. So Tesla is rising. Gold almost green on the day too here. All right, so look at the market back up. Again, kind of choppy here. Same thing with NVIDIA, same thing with Tesla. Tesla actually showing a U-shaped breakout pattern, but NVIDIA is still flat. The Q is still pretty sideways and choppy too, unfortunately. All right, chat. Hanging out, sitting tight here, waiting for something to happen here. We did have a big bounce up at 17.5 thousand on the NASDAQ here. We're waiting for new home sales. I don't think new home sales are really going to influence things too heavily. So I don't think they're going to influence things that much. So... New home sales dropping in about 4 minutes here. 4 minutes. We're trying to get the rest of these out. So stick around. Let's see what new home sales data shows. Do you think Palantir will be over 100 in a year or so? I have no idea. I hope so. I'm in Palantir right now. Oh, it's spiking up today. I didn't even see that. I mean, I'm in it right now. Oh, I'm very green on the day. Wow. Hopefully this is good. Netflix. We bought a little bit more Netflix a couple days ago on the dips. Our Home Depot trade's doing better. Palantir updated its price target. Yeah, I mean, with tech earnings today, it's kind of risky, so y'all just be smart here, chat. Again, anything can happen. All right, we're at 17.5, 17.5. Again, NVIDIA at 811s, Tesla at 145s. What tech earnings today? Tesla. Tesla's today, Meta's tomorrow, Google and Microsoft are yeah, Google and Microsoft are Thursday. Next week we have a bunch of tech earnings too. We also had Spotify today as well, but yeah, yields are going to go down as markets go up. All right, chat, 2 minutes. 2 minutes left. All right, guys. Hey, we got 1 minute left. New home sales expected, I think, 667. Let me see, 660. Yeah, 669 is what new home sales are expected at. We'll see what these do. These aren't going to really move markets or anything like that. Again, the market's probably waiting for Tesla earnings, which is why it's choppy, which is something we've been talking about all day. Something we've been talking about all day, choppiness. Ahead of these big earnings. It's a big earnings week, so it's not going to be a shock if we get choppiness. We also have PMI data, we also have PCE data on Friday, GDP data on Thursday. So not just today or tomorrow. We have big stuff going on every single day this week. We'll be back a little bit later for Tesla earnings. Again, we're going to cover new home sales expected at 668, 669, and then we're going to be back, closer to the closing bell for Tesla earnings. All right, again, gold is now technically green on the day. Somehow. All right, chat, here we go. And new home sales came in at... There's the release. It's not reflecting yet. 693. 693, higher than expected new home sales. So new home sales increased month over month. They increased from March. So 693 versus 668. Again, we'll put this up on screen. New home sales increased 8.8 percentage change here too. So a big bump up as well. All right, chat, I'm out of here. Y'all be good. I'll be back I'll be back in a little while. Again, be ready. If you hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button, you'll get an alert anytime I go live or stream or anything like that. So again, hit the notification bell next to the sub button. You'll get an alert anytime we go live, drop another video, anything like that. I love you all. Y'all be good. Again, if you want to trade with me on Apex, again, do not risk your own money trying to day trade. Most day traders lose. Try Apex's funded account program. If you lose, it's a great test of skill. If you're not good enough to pass it, you probably lose money with real money. If you can pass it, again, you get funding, 25 to 30, 300,000 in funding. They're a sponsor. I'm biased. Check them out in the description. Use promo code BT. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Love you all. Be back in a couple hours. Y'all be safe. Be safe today, guys. Market might be choppy.